North American stock futures holding on to modest gains this morning despite more negative developments surrounding the Evergrande potential fallout from default. Coming out this morning, China asking local governments over in China to prepare for the downfall and potential fallout from Evergrande missing this payment and potentially going bankrupt. We'll talk about the payment that is due today from Evergrande on its bonds. So lots of things connected to this that could be in play today. We'll discuss a few of those coming up. But markets in North America, again, futures that were up about 1% early on this morning. That was instantly cut in half when that headline came out. Everyone focusing as well on yesterday's Federal Reserve statement, not necessarily the interest rate decision, no change obviously on the interest rate decision, but the Fed saying they're going to continue their current spending program for a little bit longer. The Dow at the end of the day up about 1% as a result. We had the S&P adding 0.95% and the NASDAQ 1.02%. Individually, BlackBerry making moves in the pre-market here this morning after reporting wasn't a good report, but shares are higher. We'll have a look at BB, and we'll talk a little bit about some stocks that could potentially see some negative pressure as we get more developments and headlines surrounding this Evergrande story. It's Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at how things stand at this point. Yeah, positive territory. As I said, though, we got cut in half there on the U.S. futures when this Evergrande headline came out this morning. But still, 0.6 for the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. 0.2 here for the TSX here in Toronto. Brazil's open, trading higher. You can see Ethereum up 1.3 at the bottom there. Bitcoin positive as well. On the session, going to be an interesting day, guys. Good morning. It is all about this Evergrande headline this morning. We had, again, China coming out saying that they've advised local governments in China to prepare for the potential fallout that could come if this payment is missed. So it kind of feels like they're anticipating that that is going to be the case. Yeah,
they're certainly preparing for it, and I guess like there was a blip. It's not going to look like much when the headline dropped. I mean, it was a semi-significant move to the downside, a blip in the market. But you can see in the overall broad context of, sort of the beginning of the week and yesterday's rally, it is just a bit of a blip. I think the bigger story, and welcome everybody, if you weren't paying attention to the markets yesterday, the reaction to the Fed was initially, pretty tremendous. There was a tiny little bit of a give back, but overall, considering the tone, because we'll get into it a little bit deeper, but it wasn't exactly unhawkish, and certainly, but it definitely soothed the markets out a little bit. And we'll get into why that was the case. We're looking to hopefully pair some of those gains, and we're going to see what happens with Evergrande. I think the Chinese names will be in focus for us a little bit today. We have a tiny little bit of, we have one earnings stock to get to, but there are some serious movers in today's market as well. So you got to watch out for some of these. We just saw Neuro pop off a little bit, and we'll be watching that in this MRM. Plenty to get to today here, Sean, and including a former favorite, because I can't remember the last time on our watch list is Roku. I can't remember the last time that we actually talked about Roku on the show.
I think it was not too long ago. We definitely haven't traded it in a while, but we did have a look at Roku early. I don't know. Anyways, nice upgrade on Roku today. We'll look at that for sure. I've already been in and out of this ear a couple times, so we'll wait to see what that's going to happen. We're now short it here. We've been back and forth with this. We'll see what's happened. Down 60% now. A DOJ investigation into this company on some insurance fraud, possible insurance fraud claims here. So we'll wait to see what happens with EAR making moves to the downside. We're now 19 cents in the money on that one. And then we have, I just took a stab right here on Clover. We're long it right now, so we'll see what happens here, right there. It doesn't matter. It's not doing anything. But again, Clover, I always think that there's a chance that this thing can go. So we'll wait for Clover. We still have that bottom at 730. We'll be averaging in to some of yesterday's bottoms around 760, 770. So we'll see what happens with Clover here. But right now, EAR, wow, EAR just going off.
Now 850.
Yeah, it just continues its move to the downside. Probably worth taking some off at some point. But EAR, Brendan, not much to hear around here, but EAR is going to the downside.
See what he did there? Yeah, we'll watch that. EAR, latest headline here, guys. Evergrande, if you're unfamiliar, is a giant conglomerate over in China, I guess is the best word for it, including they have their own EV unit, which apparently has stopped paying their staff and factory suppliers. So that's according to Bloomberg. That came out just before we came on there. I was also reading that bonuses, the company's typically pays bonuses, but they've asked employees who get bonuses to then lend it back to the company as debt, which obviously isn't going to go over too well. So not good for the story continues to develop. Before we go any further, let's get over and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. Thank you for joining us today. I wish you a wonderful day and hope it will be full of great opportunities. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brendan.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. I have a window officially dedicated for Evergrande-related news this morning, so we'll talk about anything that does pop up here. It was interesting. We were sitting here when that headline came out initially this morning and saw the reaction. So it seems like we're very heavily reliant on, as far as sentiment today is concerned, what continues to come out surrounding this story. If anything further continues to come out surrounding the story, keep in mind, we are, guys, expecting them to either pay or not pay. They said yesterday that they were going to make this payment on Thursday, but feels a little more negative today.
Yeah, well, I can improve the chart and make it look more dramatic. What we saw happen here, well, I guess at our time it was like just after 6, but in Chicago it was 5:10 in the morning, and you did have, it was like a 10-15 handle drop here into a 4,400 support just on the ES, and this is what we're talking about. But it was a big volume spike that came in, and that's why we have to be at least paying attention to what goes on today, because it can be a little bit of a market moving event. And we talked a little bit about the possible contagion as it might bleed into cryptocurrencies and Tether. And I don't even know, missing that payment, like whether or not that's the kind of thing that would, even if there is that possible connection with Tether's balance sheet, it would probably still be a multi-day type of event. I'm not sure you'd even get a spike on today's action. But you do have to consider the Chinese economy, and that's where we'll talk about some of the Chinese stocks here, because when a disorderly unwind, if it were to happen, it would have ripple effects there. And to the extent that there might be a few banks that have some of their, I guess, debt products and are invested there. We actually had a list that we're looking at yesterday, and we're going to be doing a video likely on it. Looking at some of things like Royal, and they have their Asian bonds are heavily invested there, particularly. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to bleed. This is not a financial crisis. This is not about derivatives on top of derivatives. Where you have that sort of spillover effect to everywhere in the world. It's not systemic, which is a word I was struggling for like about 1 million times, and Sean mentioned to me this morning. It doesn't feel like that type of risk. Within China, yeah, certainly this could be a dampen.
You weren't struggling with that just now.
No, not now.
Oh,
it was earlier. We were talking about it earlier,
it.
and I was like, what's the word?
I was going to say, because I'd jump in if you were looking for it.
And he said contagion. But
it's not. I don't think it's systemic at all.
But there it is, because you could have it could cause a bit of a pullback in their particular economy. It could affect growth there. So, stocks with Chinese or heavy Chinese exposure, that you have to be a little bit worried about here. And outside of that, I think we'll play the headlines as they do come. I'm not going to sit here predicting whether they pay or they don't pay. I mean, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. They've said that they're going to. And even if they do, the story is probably not over.
Yeah, again, guys, welcome to the show today. It's going to be a good one, I promise you that. And I did want to talk about, I will talk about BlackBerry. I want to give a big congratulations to everybody that hit that one there. I don't have my button set up properly, but for that, because it's been a good one. But the report was not fantastic. So that's why I sort of wanted to start with here, is that if you have some shares now, I wouldn't wait for this thing to moon. I would get out half if you can capture that. If you're playing options, you have to wait for the market to open up. But I would take something out here up that 7-8%. BlackBerry could fall back down. We talked about FXI yesterday a little bit, and I've been pounding the table on this one a little bit with you guys as well. Oh no. Yeah, so I do have new charts today, by the way. So or not new charts, but a new fix. So we're going to see if that's, fingers crossed. Yeah, don't cross them too much. Okay, so right down here, FXI is a big one. It's the iShares China Trust, the large cap ETF here. So if you did think, and I do think that this is going to blow over, because remember, she over there, we talked about this yesterday. So, and I saw Jim Cramer, I was listening to his Mad Money podcast there, and now we sort of get a green light from the Fed yesterday. We saw what the market did there. And then now it looks like they're going to just sort of pass the buck on here with Evergrande. So, we're going to see what happens. Their shares went up about 25%, I thought, at its peak over there in China. So now we'll just wait to see if it does spill back over into some of these big cap tech names, maybe on the Chinese side here, like my favorite, Alibaba. We'll see. I mean, these stocks really aren't doing anything today. They're flat and still continue to watch out for moves to the downside. But yeah, I don't think this spills over. This is not like a Lehman Brothers or anything like that where you have worldwide risk, right? Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, things like that. They had business all over the world. And, that kind of falling through had ripple effects through Europe, everything. This is not going to be like that. This is going to be self-contained in China. Sure, we saw Royal Bank of Canada. There's a few other names there. You had that chart yesterday, Neil. A few other names and banks that do have exposure here. But again, they can just write the loss off. Like, I really think that may be what winds up happening, and then we just move forward with it. So let's wait to see where we go, but I'm not super worried about it. I think what's going to wind up happening is maybe the shareholders of Evergrande get wiped out, and then we just move forward with that. There is people talking about vaccines and stuff like that. Pfizer did get that booster approval for 65 plus, so we'll watch that name today as well. A little bit of a bump up, close to that 1%, and Pfizer also has bottoms being made here as well. So we'll have to see what's going on. And the sharpest dressed man in the building has just arrived. So we're getting ready to have Raheem Alani come through with you guys very, very soon.
Sean, you mentioned Alibaba, quickly a mover that we've been talking about here over the past couple of days. It feels like maybe even a week or so. This Best Incorporated, which is backed by Alibaba, up again here this morning. Not huge, but it's a delivery-related company, logistics delivery-related company. A lot of people have been looking at this Best, but 3.5% move for that. Also worth noting, guys, weekly jobless claims up higher slightly. It was about 16,000 to the upside for the weekly jobless claims in the U.S. But thoughts on this Best, guys? We've been discussing this one a couple of times this week.
That's funny. Someone said, don't the Chinese own half of Toronto? I think it's more like 40%. We'll find out about that one. Yeah, I don't know that much about this Best company and any exposure there, but you could see this has also battled off the bottom, and 243,000 shares, looking like it wants to break through $1.90 right now. So we'll wait to see what does happen coming through here, and then that's 193, 194 coming on Best. But again, up that 4%. So nice bottoms there at $1, and then we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's getting really close to a level at Best that's interesting to me. As you mentioned, 95, even into that 2 even is going to be very, very interesting. But before we get back to you, Brendan, it's just worth noting because, hey, stocks moving. We're both looking at Sean's and Clover, and Neuro is continuing to show a lot of strength. Hopefully we get that fixed. Is continuing to show a lot of strength. It just bounced off of 14 a few times and is headed straight towards the current high at 1470. So this was it's probably one of the stronger names, at least that I've seen. There is that MRM, but MRM's come back off 10%, despite being up 4 times as much, relatively speaking. But the thing about Neuro is there is some serious runway. There's obviously a 16 level, but then, you're talking to 20 the last time it squeezed up here. So some room to go on Neuro if it is going to make one of those big moves here at the open, vaulting to the top of the list. I'm only bringing it up because I don't know that it made it to our watch list. Kind of a late mover.
Yeah, I'm not. So I was just reading there. It's not, any opinions I have about Evergrande there is not, I mean, it could be right or wrong. I mean, this could spill over into the U.S. This is just going by what I've read. I mean, I don't have any exposure to that market or anybody on the inside. It's just hearing that. And again, part of it is, which I got to turn it down, part of it is what we've been listening to and articles that we've been reading. So that's really where I am on that, and they don't think it's going to spill back into the U.S. I think the market's already been hit the last little while about it, and that's the thing. Often it's, buy or sell the rumor, and then you do the opposite when the news actually comes out. So we'll wait to hear more about it.
There's another way to say this.
Sure.
Like, you can... Will our markets react? We just saw our market react to a headline with a 15-handle drop, right?
Right.
Will the markets possibly react to this unwinding? I tend to think that can be true. And apologies, I am looking at Neuro, so it's not necessarily related, guys. So you don't have to pull the chart up. But the other way to look at it is this is kind of systemic risk, which will have an extended move or effect on our markets. I don't necessarily think so either. That doesn't mean it couldn't be the catalyst for a correction or pullback that people were looking for. But I don't think that would mean that it was the actual driving force and then would extend that push down. That's what you saw with Lehman, and that's what you saw with the financial crisis. And off the top of my head, I'm already forgetting that hedge fund that blew up years ago, and that's a type of bigger move that can extend further past just a headline. And again, like we said, this is just going based on our own personal experiences here, engaging in the markets and talking to some of the traders that we know. So take that with a grain of salt, as you may. I can't keep my eyes off Neuro. It looks like it's about to break the high again.
Archegos, I think, is the.
Ago.
Oh, okay. That was this year. That was the notable one from this year. As promised, Rahim Alani is here from OCI Groups here in Toronto to have our bi-weekly discussion, I guess it is, about some opportunities on this side of the border. We'll discuss a few small cap names, but also some larger companies as well. We're going to stick to the tech sector today and have a look back, I guess, at some names that we've talked about in the past, why we've talked about them in the past a little bit, and just have a kind of a recap of what has happened. Good to see you, by the way. The first one here, Lightspeed, which has, if you have a look at the daily chart,
it's not bad, right?
Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I know. I think when we talked about it a few, I guess in the early summer, it was around $100. They had made a couple of acquisitions, and being able to tuck those acquisitions in, they've done a phenomenal job rolling out. And as you've seen, the stock price has responded in kind. Good volume, and again, good share price movement.
And this was. I think it was going back to the 90, 100 kind of area.
Yeah, it was sort of looking around that $100 range, and as soon as it broke through that 100 and it stayed consistent above that,
what a move!
It looks like it's just kept going and going, right? It's got good levels all the way up.
And even in this, past couple of days, we've had a bit of a pullback. Obviously, if anyone's been sleeping, this thing's still at recent highs. So Lightspeed, big, huge, obviously well-known company. On this side of the border, let's continue along. VPT, one that I remember Venturepoint we talked about many times. They've been on the show going back a year or so ago as well.
Yeah, so these are sort of the names that when we called out saying, hey, take a look at them, they've done well. And this is another one that's done well in that theme. I think when we first talked about them about 9 months ago, 10 months ago, they were somewhere around the 7.5 cent range.
Right.
They got up into the 60 cent range on strong volume. With a contract with an agreement with GE Health GE Health would roll out their product. They're focused on cardiovascular, obviously. Yeah. And again, the CEO's been on. Now, what's happened since, there hasn't been an announcement from GE about sales, but GE does stuff when GE wants to do stuff. So the fact that they're in bed with GE is very good for them. And they're rolling out into additional hospitals and into additional research opportunities. So the stock has started to rebound again. It dipped off that 60-cent high, came back down into the 30s. Now it seems to have a base in and around 50 here. And one would imagine that when GE gets going, things will move. So that's another one I think that we, if you look at the year-to-date chart, we've done pretty well on that one.
And a lot of these, when you add GE in any way, shape, or form to the conversation, you're going to get a very nice looking daily chart. Yeah. Voyager here is another one that we discussed previously.
Yeah, and that's one sort of you sort of look at it and it was interesting, and it's interesting down, and it's interesting back up again. This one was definitely, though, when we talked about it, it was a proxy for whatever you believe the crypto market to be. So Voyager just moved over to the TSX from the CSE a little while ago, and just most notably for the football fans out there, they just signed a deal with Gronk. So all things Gronk.
That'll help. That'll definitely help.
In making just some marketing dollars going. So yeah, if you look at Voyager, again, when we talked about it, it was around that $20 range. And again, just depending on how you viewed the crypto world, I view it as a proxy for. So it had gone up when we talked about it. It's come back down because of what's happening with the crypto world. And again, just if you want to utilize that as a proxy for what's happening in crypto.
Yeah, I was just trying to pull up a chart here, but my data is not loading. But trust us when we
As
say.
we talk in a tech segment about tech.
We're having data issues. SOLV, the next one.
Yeah, so Solve's the one that we talked about again earlier on. A technology that we like. Essentially, when your data goes out, it's wrapped in their ability to secure the data going out, and when it comes back out. So they can't stop a cybersecurity hack, but what they can do is ensure that when your data's gone in, if it was a 1, if there was a hack, not a hack, when the data comes out, it's still a 1. So we liked the technology overall. I think when we talked about it, it was around 10, 15 cents. It had a pull down into the 6, 7 cent range. They just finished raising about $4 million.
Yep.
So for a small Canadian company, they're well cashed up. And they recently announced a patent, or the next step in a patent, as well as cryptographers approving their work. So we've seen since that the stock moved from about 10 cents up to, I think just yesterday, hit 17.5 cents. So it's looking strong on that point of view.
Yeah, looking like it's trying to break out as we speak, in fact, for that one. I remember VQS. We discussed VQS. It's an interesting chart. I looked at it before we came on here. Very news-driven, though.
Yeah, so when we talked about VQS initially, they had put out Q1. They had sort of reconfigured post-COVID what was going to happen and focusing on the segment that drove business for them. So they had a really strong Q1 and the numbers looked really good. Thereafter, they had a very poor Q2. Analysts were expecting about a 5 cent loss, and I think they were around a 40, 50, 60, 70 cent loss. It was much larger than they expected, and you saw the stock price trade down significantly off of that. Now they just raised a bunch of cash in the U.S. with a registered direct offering. So things to keep in mind when you're looking at that, when people are raising capital that we've talked about before, look at the release dates on when those shares become free trading. Yeah. Always things to keep in mind, because stocks typically, as much as we all are investors for the long haul, most people are traders and they want to be in and out of a name. So pay attention to those dates because they can be critical and key for what's happening in a stock. That's one we thought it was a good idea. It seemed like a good idea. Yeah. But yeah, when you have a bad quarter like that, stock's gonna go down.
Headline driven. It's amazing to think, but we're coming up to obviously the end of September, which means the end of the quarter. Yep. Going into Q4, when we see Raheem next, we'll do a little bit of a discussion on not only what to expect going into Q4, but maybe have a look back as well at some other areas of the market that we have discussed in the past.
For sure.
And come up with some more ideas, guys, for Q4. Again, some thoughts and some ideas on possible opportunities on this side of the border. Again, a few of the names that we'll discuss with Raheem are obviously interlisted as well.
For sure.
Good to see you, as always. Raheem Alani, OCI Groups here in Toronto. Sean and Neil, that light speed chart on a daily time frame, it doesn't get much better.
No, it's actually, we were talking about that before Raheem. Well, we talked about this the last time Raheem was on and before we were coming on air. And it's just, it's gorgeous. And what I love about it is the extension that it got through, like actually recently breaking out at that 125 mark. You then, in the context of the market that we're seeing right now, when you get a cluster top like this, a lot of names that have been doing this at the top in tech, you've actually had like deeper pullbacks. I mean, I know we did get into that 150 level, but you saw 10%, I think, on Apple, and you're seeing 5 to 10 on most of them. And this is right back to, and I know this is Toronto, so it actually hasn't traded yet in the morning, or yet, and we won't get anything until 9:30. But this is looking like it's going to have a shot to break back out and make a high going in today's action. So you love to see that. There's several other names which, if you looked at similar charts, even in the U.S., are still yet to possibly break out those highs. Yes, they're getting back to those tops, but unless you're talking about, I guess, Upstart, or anything, even that's actually off of its highs a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you're holding up so well here. I kind of wish I was involved in it. It hasn't really given you too much of a dip, but you got to look out for these different opportunities. And, the U.S. isn't the only place that you have fantastic opportunities to invest in, and this light speed certainly was a good one. And you got to find strength like that because, you look at a breakout like this around 125 and kind of say to yourself, should have been obvious, but you got to look there first, right?
I mean, next time Raheem's on, I'm going to ask him about Nuvei Corp. NVEI. I'm an investor in this one. This is a payment processor, and it's just been exactly like Lightspeed, man. Straight up to the top. There's been some great IPOs here in Toronto, and you could see $60. We got involved, I think it was even lower than $60, the IPO 50 there. We got involved on this 60 break for NVEI, and you guys know that. And actually, while on vacation on Friday, I took a day off, I did get out of some of this at 172, but again, it was only like 20% or so of that. Now it's pulling back in. I still think you got to buy a lot of these names on dips, and I think that's the whole point, right? There's not just U.S. names. You have to look international for some of these plays, and I wish I was in Nuvei more than I'm in PaySafe right now. As a financial wise, this has gone up, so I own more of this. But yeah, Lightspeed, there's a whole bunch too. Even the Canadian banks, solid dividends, guys.
Mogo.
Yeah, over to the big screen there with Brendan. Upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, a few analyst moves, guys, to discuss this morning. We've mentioned a few of these already. There's Roku. Guggenheim liking Roku today. Plug Power had some news yesterday. Obviously, analysts liking it today on that news. FedEx to the downside today. We mentioned FedEx yesterday off of earnings. This VIPS, we've traded that before on the show. VIPS, Chinese name. JP Morgan price target cut on that one. Guys.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that VIP shops as well, and I actually added that. I believe I added it to the sticky note. You can find that at Twitter, at Sean, at TraderTV Sean on Twitter. Nightbot will put up every once in a while. If you see Nightbot on our chat, that's just something that Trader Prad has set up for us, so we don't have to keep on, repeating everything over and over and over again. But VIP shop again, it's a big downgrade from JP Morgan. I don't know what they're trying to do to this stock, but it's already getting destroyed. This is an online e-commerce name, and yeah, VIPs just getting destroyed down here to the downside. I don't know what products they sell. I was on their website looking at it. I mean, it's all in, I guess it's all in Cantonese or Mandarin. I think you can go either way. I couldn't find an English option, but I'm not sure they're selling authentic stuff. I don't know what's going on there, but VIPs right now, I'm looking at this downside here of 12 break. I think that could happen. It's 1.3 million shares on the daily chart so far. I don't know, it was trading around 12. Okay, there it is. So still 1250. That's probably nothing there. A dark pool of some sort. Yeah, there it is right there. There's the big, huge dark pool print at 73. So we'll wait to see if this falls back down. I want it to open up because right now the market, it's not very liquid, so we don't know where we're going to go on this one, but a break of 12 on the daily, I mean, that's been the very, very bottom. We've bounced up there a couple times. If there is any issues in China, I mean, we got to sell companies like this because, I mean, this is one that would either get delisted. I mean, I remember Luckin Coffee and things like that. These companies could go, so we'll wait to see. I'm looking at VIPs at 12. I'm
looking at Plug Power just because the last time it broke the 50 period, it looked like it had a chance to break out. There's obviously bag holders or people that were looking to get in, watching out at this 30 level because you had a previous support level, a breakout from that support at 30. You had this resistance get put in, you break the 50 period and then take out that 30 level. It got up to 35 and then, reversal, big time reversal. It's made the higher low. It's broken back above the 50 period, but it's still about $1.50 away from that 30 level. And then again, the last time it got up here, it rejected 30 even. So this is a big opportunity, I think, coming for Plug to extend on some gains. I think it's going to get interesting. It might actually even be a nibble right here as I'm getting more consideration about it here. So clean energy, I think, is going to be a bit of a play here. And I do like the opportunity to maybe catch someone a breakout at some point at 30. But yeah, just getting back above the 50 period might be an entry point as well for Plug. Nice to see the upgrade on top of the news they had yesterday, but also getting interesting on the daily chart for Plug Power, and 30 looks like it's a standout level.
I just saw a headline on this Hellbiz, guys. It came out a little bit earlier, but worth mentioning here. If you remember HLBZ, past couple of days, decent mover. I'll show you this. They partnered with Drover AI to bring AI intelligence to scooter sharing. Not sure I want to be on a scooter that has artificial intelligence, but anyways, we'll watch Hellbiz today. Here is where you can find the morning watch list, guys. If you need it, all you require is an email address, and you can have it for free every single day. And let's get into that morning watch list this morning. We'll kick things off with Chinese stocks. Again, this is going to be, on a higher level, kind of general speak here, but worth noting some of these stocks, guys. If we get further developments on the Evergrande front, some of these might be the first to get sold.
Yeah, first of all, I just in a new position on Tilray, so we'll talk about that. There was a bill passed yesterday that had some legislation in there about marijuana, and so we're up 6%. We were up a decent percent yesterday. We didn't really trade it, but Tilray today looks like it's starting to go. I guess I need to change the timing on my chart. We talked about that the other day. We'll talk about marijuana when we go, but we're in Tilray right now. You can see where I just was like, that's enough. I've had enough, and then I punched long. I was going to wait for higher highs, even higher, like 1250 break, but I was like, I'm going to take this. So right now we're 11 cents in the money on that, 2 cents in the money on Clover Wow, and a whopping 27 cents in the money on EAR. I don't know, I think we can get more on all of these, so let's hold it out. You talked about some of these names. I mean, I don't really know. TCEHY, I've always liked Tencent. I haven't been able to pick any up here, but this is a monster name. We all know about what Tencent's involved in. You just have to look it up. I don't know, that's still Tilray. What's going on? I remember my charts. I was going to say, like, I never saw 10 cent spike like that. But you're right back near the bottoms here. So I think that there is good opportunities to buy some of these, high quality names. As far as we know, they're high qualities. The reason why I picked Alibaba was because they have, I believe it's slipping my mind, but their accounting is in the U.S., so they're audited by a U.S. accounting firm, Alibaba. I just can't remember what accounting firm it is right now, but anyways, slips my mind. But Tencent needs to be bought down here, in my opinion, if you do believe that there's going to be a rebound. There's Baidu as well, another strong name, not like that VIP shop. So if you go over to Baidu here, it's probably a NASDAQ stock, or am I going to be wrong? Okay, so back up to 160, which is a little nice. We did dip down over and over again. I mean, this just looks like almost exactly the same as Alibaba, where you have a 3 and change high and then a dip down. This was actually extended more than Alibaba, down to 134. So you're already off the bottom on some of these names. This gives me a reason to believe that maybe we can pick up some value here. I've always stayed strong on that FXI. I think that's the best place to play. That's the Chinese FXI. And we get new viewers all the time coming in, so if I keep saying the same thing over and over again, it's just right here. This is the Chinese ETF. I think it's iShares. So they're nicely managed, they're nicely run, they're not going to have huge fees. I mean, the fees are probably going to be too big, but it's still reasonable to get into this space, and you're diversified. So this is not a bad play if you wanted something, and I think that you may get a bump, from 38. I mean, let's just think about all this maybe started up here, $44, $45. Let's pull this back a couple months for Evergrande. Then you get down here, 42, 43 backside. So I think you have about anywhere from an 8 to 12% move or so back up for FXI once this all gets cleared out. So I think this is a safe move. If you want better returns, then I would go with like a, JD, a Baba, I'm already in Baba, or like I was saying there, a Baidu, something like that. But FXI is pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shot play, which is what I thought Alibaba was going to be, and it hasn't worked out so far yet. We'll see what happens with it. But just for the day trade, just for today, and looking at some of the headlines that come through, Baba's got a 154 level that was previous support that got tested in yesterday's action and just absolutely crashed off of this. And with the uncertainty of today, let's assume before we get any further news, if we were to test that 154 high, I kind of feel like it's worthy of a rollover shot on Alibaba at that 154, and then just spot out 151, the double bottom at 149 as your potential dual targets. Just because it is on the move, and we mentioned some small cappers that are going. This one is on the watch list, MRM here, but it just went right back up to a double top. Well, it's now making a double top at 15
News on
even.
DraftKings.
We actually just got this one unblocked. We have no locates. I said in the chat, I would be sitting this one out, shorting in front of this high. It's entirely too strong at this point, and it was a big volume spike that just got it up to 15. So MRM, at least for me, I wouldn't necessarily be rushing into the short just yet. Could change my mind at the open.
Tiny float on that one. 6 million, I believe. Headline on DraftKings, guys. This Hedge Eye website is apparently short DraftKings and saying DraftKings is the best short idea. So we had a spike down there on DKNG. Let's talk NIO, another Chinese name, obviously. There was, before we do that, let's bring in Arun. Check out the overall market on a day where, we could require some knowledge, at least, Arun, of where we could go potentially to the downside on a headline-driven type of day.
Yeah, yesterday you saw the movement after the Fed came out, right? We had that massive, well, not massive, but it was quite a large swipe down. Then we ran up through 4,400, came back down. We traded kind of sitting between the top and the bottom of those extreme points into the end of the day. And then here we are above but we got above that 44.10 mark and then stalling out once again. This is one of those tricky situations where there's trading, there's potential, but it's also very difficult to figure out where the levels are because there's just a lot of volume being run through. I noticed yesterday 80 to 43.80 was taking on a lot of volume, whether it was to the sell side initially and then it turned around and went to the buy side. There's a lot happening around that 80 mark, so keep an eye on that, around that price range. Anyways, the only level I can see that can be somewhat clear is going to be 43.50. If we can get into that mid 75 area, even low 80s, starting from that where that old resistance, but not resistance, old volume point was from yesterday. From 43.80 going down to 43.50, I think there could be a long there. Again, it has to set up though. The way the market's moving, it's going to be a little whippy. So I'm going to be a little bit careful on how I go about getting this entry, but I am looking at potential longs in that price point. If we go up to the high overnight seems to be somewhere around 44.25-ish. We do have 44.45 actually, where I'm looking up top. There could be a potential short if we try to take the high and can't and we fail. That could be a potential failed, I wouldn't even call this a breakout, but a failed move through the highs. That could be a nice little short there if it sets up the proper way. So 44.40 up top, 43.50 down below. That's a 90-point range. There's nothing in the middle. So you do have to be careful on how you go about taking these trades if they do set up. Just be smart about it. If you try, for me especially, if you try to trade inside this range, it gets very dangerous very quickly because you could be priced out of position, meaning you're taking on a trade that doesn't necessarily need to be taken at that price point. So I'm just gonna be a little bit more careful on how I price. So like I said, 80 going on down, 43.80 going on down to 43.50s of long potential. And then I'm gonna need to see a high fail for me to go after the short.
Good stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's continue along with what's moving in the pre-market here, guys. We had, I mentioned 6 million on MRM. It's actually 3.3 million. So very, very small. If you're trading that MRM, be careful. It's testing highs right now. NIO, another one, obviously China ties here, but they also came out with a brand new battery, which sounded pretty exciting as far as lifespan and charge capabilities. 75 kilowatt per hour hybrid battery cell going to be launched for NIO cars.
It's on the watch list for me as well. It's on the sticky note. What's up to everybody in the chat? I just want to show you this, Neil. I can't believe this just happened. I was sitting at $9 or $8.99 on EAR, and it just ripped up. And then this is where I take one of Neil's lines.
No.
I could get out here, right, and say, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. And me and Neil go back and forth on this. This would be, in my opinion, a gift horse because, you know, the spike's up there and then without me doing anything, it just comes right back down, you know, into this level. But I'm not getting out. I'm going to wait for 8.55. I am looking this gift horse directly in the mouth here on EAR. So I am going to look this and we're going to see what happens. Yeah, this is like an omen here. I'm probably going to get punched out of that at some point.
That's dirty.
Today. Yeah, that's just a big move there. You got taken out of your...
No. I could actually just come to my chart for a quick second because like the line shows where our order is. The dot is when we placed it. I have a 9:05 order that I put in at like 8:25 in the morning, so I missed that. I just put another one in to try to get shorted for the 9 in case it does it again. But
I just wanted to show that because
it's a great,
people might be like, hey,
we should be trading that one.
How did you get those shares? Okay, Neo right now, and I couldn't believe it myself. That's why I wanted to show that to you. And sometimes, you know, you got to be lucky, but you got to have the orders pending, and that's the thing. And sometimes we miss it by a little couple bucks. Okay, so I think this is absolutely fantastic news for NIO. I mean, a longer battery, battery life there can go a little further. I think that's fantastic news. I think that's the problem with electric vehicles right now is that, you know, they're not reliable for a longer period of time, but now, I mean, they're slowly getting there, obviously. Those of you that drive Teslas know that you can upgrade to the better battery and the better engine there. But right now, this is a good one. And what was it too? Oh, range cold weather as well, and state charge estimation. So I think that there's a whole bunch of things now that works for them. So I like it. I really like this break of the pre-market high of 36.50. So this is a 20-minute chart. We'll see that. The reason why we're pulling this out is, you know, we've had a couple negative days here. So each one of these, of course, is a day. So 3 days ago, we looked at this 37. We never got a chance to trade it because it opened below. So I think that there's some sort of a gap fill here that has to happen. And I was going to say, and I said it on here, if the market goes, right? So you got to be very, very careful. If the market wants to run, NEO will run with it, is my thought. So I like this play. I like it through 37. I like it through the day's top here at 36.50. I mean, the day's top, I only have it to 7:30, but 36.50 on the high side, I like those. And then if the market does tend to dip down, which looks like that might be the case. Then we look to maybe even just protect this 35. I don't know if we get that low or not today, but hey, I'm a buyer on dips of NEO. Let's just make sure that we're reminded of it. We're going to be trading so many things, but we'll put some low orders. Hopefully we get some fills down around 35.50. Then we'll watch and see what happens around 35. But I like NEO. Before I go to NEO, though, I just want to see what's up with the imbalance locator to see if there's anything on there, because NEO sometimes is on here. There it is. So it's a small, well, we don't have to click it, but there's a small little bid there for NIO. It's starting to get bigger, go up there. What's BlackBerry doing? I told you guys that, remember it was 10:30 or whatever it was when we started the show. I said, let's get out of some of that. I think you should. It was a good report. We called that. You got that 7 or 8%. You got 10% last night. But if you're not out of it, I think you should pair something off on BlackBerry. But NEO, I like the long.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can play this. Now, I candidly wanted 30. This is going to be a 36 break. You can obviously look at the 2-day high here, and then it was a bit of a pivot area on the 20th as well, holding a support and then breaking down to begin the week. And unfortunately, look, you don't get that breakout today, but if it does come and pull back in, it closed at 35.70. 36 was the break I wanted, right in half. If it gets to 35.85, that's sort of random. That's within the range of the breakout that I would have liked, 36 resistance, and then that 35.70, which is happens to be where it closed. In that 30-cent target range is where I would want to buy the dip. And then just look for the breakout at the high. And from there, you can sort of look at some obvious areas of resistance, 37.5 and 38. If we get to there, we'll be pretty happy about NEO, because there's lots of ways to go long today. Just keep in mind, like with any of these plays, I think would go without saying, whether it's Alibaba or I think it was VIPS you were looking at, or NIO. If there's a headline that comes through, like we're going to be a little bit sensitive to some headline risk. Like I could see myself canceling a bid if something crazy came out of Evergrande or a story coming out of China. So I'm definitely going to be sensitive to that. But for now, I'm buying break. I'm buying a dip in between 35.70 and 36 on NEO. And then let's see what happens, because it's primed to finally make a run. If it were not for I think some of the risk in China overall, I kind of feel like NEO would already be at 40 looking to break through. Just have a quick look at Tesla if you haven't looked at Tesla the last little while, and how strong relatively that's been. And you have a lot of the solar names that's been starting to pick up. It just feels like NEO should have already made this move that we're now anticipating is going to happen.
Okay, another recent mover here, guys. ATER, Aterian, just saying that they've reached an agreement with a lender to pay down a term loan debt. And they've also said 25 million of that term loan will now not come due in April of 2023. So there was a spike actually both directions here on this ATER. This one's been a recent pretty high flyer. Let's talk, while we're getting on in time here, let's talk about BlackBerry. They beat estimates. They reported lower revenue for their current quarter, 175 million versus 259 million the prior year, but that still beat estimates of 163.5 million for BlackBerry, guys. So was still a loss. Revenue was down, but better than expected, I guess.
Yeah, so we had that idea last night, and we stuck our neck out again on an earnings call, and I'm glad that it's worked out so far for people. I don't know what's going to happen once we open up, but we talked about this being off the bottom there. I really like the risk reward. I said that if we were bad, really bad, then we could test 8 again. But so you go from 9.25 yesterday, or yesterday's close, wherever it was. Look at the 1-minute chart. I know a lot of you loaded up, and thank you for the kind words there on Twitter last night. That was great. But you're right at the 50 period, and this is where we called it. I liked it into this level, man. Like 10.50. I think if we can get to 10.80, I think that's great. 11 would be great. Like anything up here, it's great. I think everything right now is gravy. So I think you should take some off. I said that earlier. You're right back to 10.24, 10.25. The report's not great. You just went over some numbers there. Revenue fell to 175 from 239 last year. A little bit better than expected. So you're going to get a bump up there. Net loss, like they're losing money. Like this company 40 years old or something like that, losing money. And I know they've revamped everything, so this is not a call on Neil or Arun's BlackBerry, which they're not making anymore. 25 cents a share. You know what? It's not a great, it's a good report, and there's only 8% short, so it could go up. This is that move yesterday. I always look at this 1050 level. Where did we stop yesterday when that report came out? So they liked it, then they didn't really like it, and now it's back down to here. So I'm just a little cautious on it, and I want people that bought with us, or I shouldn't say with us, but that bought it yesterday at the close, down here, 950, 960. I want you to realize some profits up here if you're on the same thought as me. It's not a great company right now, and the movement, although nice, you're right back at the 50 period. I think it's worth taking some out, and if you want to hold for that sort of, I don't want to say prayer, but that possible squeeze on the short side of things, then I think you can hold BlackBerry. But right now, reward yourself first, and then hold on later. That's what I'm getting at.
It's got a chance to break a trend here and extend through, certainly. But as Brendan said, it's one of those beat expectations and is more up just because you had low expectations and then you had a small amount of it to the short side. And I think that's usually going to get you a bump in a case like this. It's not showing a ton of signs of following through, but you can look back to this 975 to 990 area, previous support here and then this resistance. It's a little tiny bit of a gap between 75 and 990 that I think that would probably stop enough people out that you could make a little bit of a base. So if the bear case comes in as it's starting to slide down, and this is all on very low volume, by the way, if that continues to come in, I like this 75 to 990 range. If it were to bounce off that level, I think there's a decent chance it's at least getting back to where we are right now, and that's a solid return for a trade. That ATER, by the way, that was absolute utter nonsense the way that it was moving around, because and someone made a comment in the chat there, and you're absolutely right. The algos sometimes just grab a hold of a headline and then whip this bad boy around. And so we go up to 17, basically all the way back to where this thing where this thing absolutely flushed this morning at 7 o'clock. It's the first thing that happened when retail came in is dump ATER through 17. It goes right up to that price and then back down to 14 even. So clearly, once digested, there's a negative tinge here to this agreement to pay down that loan debt, which it seems a little bit counterintuitive, but you have to remember the context, right? ATER, this. I'm not saying it was like an engineered squeeze or a run, but this was one of those. It got popular on Wall Street Bets and was a bit of a meme runner for a lot of this move. And that can lend to selling when it's in this point in the cycle, right? So I know it doesn't make sense when you look at the 1 minute chart in the headline, but when you pull it up on the daily and have a look at this lower high, I can see why there would be people selling. There are people that went long on this breakout at 8, down here when it started this second squeeze. So that's locking in a double up on this headline, and that makes sense to me. So when in doubt, zoom out. It doesn't make sense if you just only look at it with the headline in the 1 minute, but in the context of the move ATR, to me, people taking profit here and some selling does make a little bit of sense. Does it find any support at a previous level at $12? I would think so looking at the charts, but that is easily 20% away from where we're sitting right now.
We talked about it right out of the gate this morning. We'll talk about it again here, guys. Roku in positive territory. Nice look here. Almost 3.5% for Roku in the early going. Guggenheim with the upgrade today. Price target increase, talking about potential growth. Still plenty of upside according to Guggenheim analysts. So nice base on the daily chart as well for Roku, guys. Looks good.
Yeah. I mean, Roku is going to be a name that's going to go up and down here with the market as it gets that growth aspect to it. There's some releases in Canada here, plus you get the upgrade. This is AMD. We'll go over Roku, but I've been banging the table on AMD the last couple of days, telling people that this is a great swing trade, especially once we get up to 07. So we're making some moves up there, despite the NASDAQ being down or now up, but moving down here. AMD was just at 105.50. 50 now coming back in. It's up double right now what the market is up, but up double is nothing when you're looking at a stock like Roku that comes in here today up 3%, was up 4. Actually, no, this is its highest spot right now. Sorry, I thought it came back in. 336, looking to take out a whole bunch of levels here. 20-minute, it's way off, upside now. And then if you look at a daily chart, you could see Roku just coming off these bottoms, trying to make that swoosh downside there. So this is a again, you know, if you're believing that this market's about to rally, that or we've made bottoms, like this is a guaranteed winner back up here to 370. So Roku moves like that. You have this bottom at 300. Also, you know, defended back here in May, the 300 bottom as well. So this was a no-brainer down there. I'm surprised I missed this. I don't, you know, I'm not a huge believer of the Roku situation. Every smart TV you buy now tends to have some kind of a platform in it. And I know Roku is in TCL. And I don't know if they recently, I think they signed a deal not with Samsung because they have Tizen, but Roku, I still like to play. I think there's a lot of names in this. I believe Kathy Wood as well with ARC has some Roku involvement. So yeah, looking to take this out, man. 340 right here on Roku today, maybe even 338. Looks like we'll go, you know, sky's the limit here for Roku.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I even like a Fubo TV for a setup to get off the schneid. But Roku, this was a breakout that's set up, and then of course you're going to get the gap through here, and this is going to be that 330 level on the daily chart, and this is what it looks like on the 15. It's gorgeous, and if there's any chance that it comes down to this price, I'm just sitting here, and it's just I'm in front of that 325, and if it gets there at any point today, then I want to be a buyer of Roku. But the problem that I find with where it's sitting right now is you've got this like 345-ish level just above here, and if I'm not certain that support is until 25 to 30, it's tricky for me to like a 338, 340 long because I don't know where to be. Like, I can't say that I'd be wrong on a long trade in Roku unless it was below that 330 or 325, and more likely even that 325 level. So that makes it really tricky for me to be long, you know, $8 to $10 in front of that, and then staring this 345 in the face. So sometimes you miss out on a breakout trade, and it's just one of those things. NEO is a similar situation where you missed out on the breakout because it gapped above, but you're a little bit closer to a dip buy, which is structured, and then the breakout on NEO, because of its liquidity, is a little bit easier to handle away from that level. For me, not so much on Roku, but I'm very much prepared to be a buyer in front of that 27. There are scenarios in which I would short this between 45 and 50 if it were to get there on a parabolic move. But I tend to only want to be long the stock today.
Let's talk about Salesforce quickly here. CRM up big time as well, 3.5% to the upside for Salesforce. They came out this morning in the pre-market, increased their current 2021 forecast, 2022 and 2023, all to the upside, guys. So 3.4% here so far for CRM. Highs are just above us in the 70s.
Yeah, we're getting very, very close, and I think we have a decent shot of getting there in the next few days. I think, you know, the missed opportunity with the Slack deal, that's come and gone for you. Like, there's always going to be a value. Well, not always. There's a lot of times going to be a value, regardless of the market or the stock pulling back in deeper when it's big-time cash or in stock or a big-time stock purchase, which is what happened here. You're going to have some obvious levels. Again, if you know how I trade, you're going to be looking back at like about 264 in here, down to 263, where if there is a bit of a pullback, we're only up 3%. And then headlines could be part of that, by the way, because we're outpacing the market on CRM, right? So you could look back to that 263, 264 area, and I'd probably, if I got that pullback long, I'd be looking stop, shoot like 261, maybe not 260, shoot like about a 261, something along those lines. So I like this for the dip buy as well. The problem with taking a breakout, and again, it's sort of the same thing. Like if you break out here at 269, 270, you're then right back into that high, which was a heavy rejection up here at 273. So I think a consolidation break at the top will be a better breakout trade. I do kind of feel confident that we'll get there at some point. The caveat being I own CRM, I love CRM. Last time we talked about it, we talked about how we loved CRM, and now you're seeing us get towards those highs. And I think in a matter of a couple of weeks, as long as something crazy doesn't happen in the market, which you never know, I can't see too much other than another market dip causing CRM not to break that high.
Yeah, I'm long CRM from years ago. I love Mark Benioff. I thought he was one of the best CEOs. It's part of the reason why I have Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan is the only bank that I own. Sometimes you do like Satya Nadella in Microsoft, it's like sometimes they get these all-stars on board and you just read great things about them. And same with Twilio as well. Okay, so I just got out of ears there. I don't know. I just, it's been a big trade, so we've been short this name. So we'll put some money in our pocket with EAR and just take that out just ahead of that 850 mark. So we're flat on EAR. We'll look to reload that short if we get anywhere near $9 again. But just want to give you an update on that one.
A little teeny tiny one, DBGI Digital Brands. This is the one that has 6 million share free float. DBGI up 2 days in a row, in fact, after popping up after market yesterday. But if you go to the daily chart first, kind of 3 to 320 is the area that I'll look at today, which is that high, and then consolidation way back when. 3, which is here, we're right there right now, up to 320, which was the high from the pre-market for DBGI. Not going to be a huge mover. This is only 250 where we were yesterday, so 20-30 cents for Digital Brands, guys.
Another low float one there, so you got to watch out for those. Yesterday, Lucid, my trades are right here. We shorted it. It was a great short. We cashed out about $2. It was probably my best trade yesterday. There was a great AMC long, which was the trade of the day as well. But I mean, Lucid just tanked City yesterday. But I want to note that it stopped at 24.50. I mean, if you go all the way down, you did get that little candle wick there. And if you ever see something like that, that's a definite indication that you want to go long off that level. So 24.50 is a level that I think that we could support here today if it comes back down. On that note, though, I like a 26 break upside. I'm not too worried about, I mean, you could take 26.10, something like that. But I think Lucid now, after yesterday's sell-off, which was pretty dramatic, 28 to 24, like we mentioned, I think that there could be some relief rally now in it today. So we'll watch out for Lucid here. Here's the 1 day. There's going to be nothing on here. But there's that stop yesterday. The top that I'm looking at right now, 25.77. That's right where we are, so we can get to there. The other day before that, rally, we closed at 26.30 right there. So, I think we can get back going there. That was a big drop there yesterday. We covered up that candle. Then we made that stop. And now let's see if we can go. So we like that $26 break. And then also on a 20-minute chart, you can see right here as well, there's 26. We just need to get above. I mean, if you're going to be real, a little more conservative, you can wait to 26, 26.50 up here. Definitely has a chance to go. But I'm going to try 26. And then if we miss it, we'll have, or if it goes up and it fails, then we'll average it back in here. But we're not going to go too much lower than this 24 candle. But I'm looking at 24.50 right now on Lucid. So that's a name that I like.
So two things. MRM tried to take the top off there at 21s. I actually got a 20 long, which is weird because 21 was the high of the day, and I still got a 20 fill. Sometimes that happens when you're dealing in the pre-market and low liquidity. But Lucid, it was a 9:30 rollover play off a double top, which I'm always going to favor. It's just a setup that I absolutely love. I still, when you have a move like that off the top, I still am going to favor the short for a day and see if it goes off the high. But I'm not looking at the same sort of play where you do a 9:30 rollover. If it pops, I'm looking now at about $27 where I would jump into a short on Lucid. And you know what? That looks like a fail break in MRM. By the way, no, I don't have any locates on MRM. I can't go short if I want to, but I want to give this one back to like a 14.50, just showing you here on the 15-minute chart, guys. I want to give it back to about at least 14.50. Give it a shot to run a little bit here and just see if it can continue. I'm holding my ears short. I want to give that one a little bit of a chance. And I'm kicking myself because we do have locates on ATER. And as we were mentioning, I was sort of talking about how it made sense. If you take a step back, it made some sense that ATR could be selling on that headline, and then it is dropping into the lows. It's so far held 14.20 a couple of times here, so it's found a little bit of support. I might have to step away from that one. I was willing to go short off of this level. We're turning on 15.50 or so, and it's gotten a little bit far away from that. I don't want it spiking into that. I just feel it's going to be a very, very volatile name going into the open, guys. So ears, the problem with EAR, and the reason why I can't figure out where to get out, other than sort of taking it out in front of 850, and then now it's broken the low, I should cancel these orders. I don't want these offers just hanging out there at the open. But now that it's made a fresh low, $8 maybe, there's no bottom that I can even try to figure out other than the even level. So if I was taking it in front of 75 and 50, I wouldn't do a 25 at the open because it could flush. I might think about $8 if it does hold to the downside here. So lots to be watching, of course. I don't even know if we mentioned Peloton yet. You remember Peloton had a big flush in yesterday's action. Load. In yesterday's action, give me my daily chart at least. There you go. So broke through that key level at 26. We made a flush bottom nowhere near that 90 level, so I think that's at least a decent sign. It's setting up pretty decently that eventually you could make a 96 break and try to fill that gap in. The market is strong. I think it could be set up to go. I like the fact that you don't have to take that trade in the pre-market because Peloton is one of those stocks that if you get it in the pre-market, usually it doesn't end well because you're paying a bit of spread.
Yeah, let's get ready to rock and roll with only a minute to go here now. We've been averaging into our Tilray. This is yesterday, so I just want to show this level 1150. So I'm going to be averaged into there. I'm in now. It's not a heavy position. We will get more if it breaks near 12. So here we go. Just push it over. Just want to show you yesterday where we bounced off of here at 1150 off some nice rallies, and then we held it, bounced up, held it again, and then off to the races. But we did close near that 1150 mark, which is why you're getting up that 4 and a bit percent. We took that real early off the open, and we talked about that. And then we took it again at VWAP, which isn't that important off the open. It was more taking it at 1225, and then it just dipped down. I was like, you know what, I'll buy some of that. So now we'll wait for that. We're going to be back down here to 1185 coming up soon on Tilray. That's my next bid. So we'll see if it can dump down into that spot. Only 10 seconds now. The imbalances don't look like anything, so let's go.
We got the countdown on. Miss V's ready to drop in. Ring the bell. 3, 2, and 1. Let's get it started.
All right, good. So thank you for that one, Miss V. Let's watch to see what the NASDAQ does here to see if we have any winners on board. So we're going to watch NEO going to open up soon here. We'll see where we go on that one. But NEO on watch, so is Lucid.
Yeah, that MRM immediately spikes up and stalls in front of 1550. So look, an even number like that, I'm going to take a little bit of profit at 1550. Now I'm going to shoot to buy a dip in front of that 14.5 level if I can, if it does want to come back in. I'm not sure it even wants to give it to me here, but you never know. It's getting some whippy action in that price range. EAR is continuing to fall into the downside as far as I can see. In ATER, there's just no bottom in sight. I guess I thought there'd be a pop that I could short an ATER. That's now down breaking 13 even. I got to find a way to get in, but you can't chase something forever.
Wow. Yeah, I see, Daryl. Yeah, I mean, I like to cover Tilray as well. I mean, it's just been a big move up. I think the short probably was right there at 1250 or so. But I'm just going to hold out and see. I mean, maybe Tilray goes today. I mean, that's really all. This is not going to be like a big concern for me, but it is a going concern. So let's see what happens with Tilray right now. Good. 50% left. Okay, I have 50% left to cover Tilray at 12. Okay, got it. EARs to the downside. Good trade there. I dumped mine. Didn't want that. But still a good trade. That's for sure. So EARs right now looking to make a move to the downside. Not probably, but definitely should have held some ears there, but we didn't. So we'll move on. That's that trade. Now breaking down near $8. I actually had a bid at 8 at one point, but we had too many shares, so we covered. Okay, JP Morgan, Neuro, things starting to go up now. Let's check out Microsoft. There goes Tilray a little bit. It's tried to go. We will take a little bit off. We're long at 22 cents. So if this can go, we like Tilray. Let's see, is Neo open yet? Yes, it is. So we'll wait to see where this one goes.
Yeah, I just want to get over it. I mean, this Neuro's making moves, but it looks like EAR did hit that 8 even. It goes to 801. I was kind of waiting to see what would happen when it got down to that price. It dips down there. If it comes again and bounces off it, I want to make sure I can actually get something out this time because I sort of sat there like an absolute chump out, looking a gift horse in the mouth. Neuro also making some moves here to the downside, pulling back hard. So I got stopped out in the second half of that MRM, but Neuro holding up at 14 to 14.20 at least for now. Looks like a lot of these flyers are selling off at the open here. I don't see any of them breaking highs, although BlackBerry just got off the $10 bid.
Okay, here goes Tilray. We'll get a little bit more out here if we can. Nice little win, 16, 17 cents. It's still climbing, always, boom. Nice move there. So we'll see. And, we can't be like this all the time. On the show here. I mean, we got to make sure we take some profits, that I always do. There goes Vips as well, now to the downside. Vips breaks 12. This was a name that we liked on a JP Morgan downgrade, so we are short Vips right now. Hopefully this one can continue to make some moves. It's off of its very, very low lows of $12, making new lows right now. Let's go Vips and let's go Brendan.
Yeah, market trying to bounce here, guys. Not so much for Robinhood. Big sell volume off the open there for Hood, guys. Down 3.5% here. It's trying to hold 45, though.
There it is. We'll punch it out right now as we bang. There we go. See ya, Vips. What? I mean, that's good. This is my biggest position right now. Vips on the sell through 12. We take some out right there. We're not gonna take some out. So there goes Vips. Let's see what we got on this one. I really like this name, guys.
Yeah. So I got a fill there to get out of ear, and it breaks 18. I'm trying to get back into this MRM because it's now above that 16 level and continuing to run. Someone asked in the chat they couldn't find a catalyst. It is in our watch list, by the way, MRM, so I would suggest that you look there. There is a little bit of piece of news. I'd read it off for you guys, but obviously I'm busy trying to buy that little dip that I just obviously missed out on, so that's a pain in the butt. It's about to halt. If I can get something, I'm going to see if I can't get that like quick one-time trade. If I can get on the bid and then see if I can't it goes into the halt state, get on the bid. If I can catch a fill, I can catch a fill, and then just take it out as it reopens. I did not get a fill, as you can see there, so I will go ahead and cancel that order. I wanted to just see in that 15 seconds on the momentum to the upside, just because there's nowhere for this thing to go except for up at this particular point. And I think even if it's only like 20 or 30 cents, it's a high probability event that you're going to have good liquidity, and that's why you can usually take more shares, which is difficult to do when it's trading crazy until you get that whole possibility. BlackBerry, by the way, I said it was getting off the bid. This is what I meant by that. It just made a move after flushing. And I'm going to kick myself for this in BlackBerry because as I'm sitting here looking at MRM and EAR, BlackBerry dipped exactly to where I wanted it to. It's just very quick. You had to be on that stock to be looking at that dip buy level that we mentioned, and then it's coming back up towards these highs. At least if you want to look at the aftermarket, about 1050 looks pretty key to me. If we can get a shot at this 1050 level, I might consider shorting it with a hard stop at 1065. We're getting very close there, and I'm not seeing a ton of size on the offer, but it's enough to take a first dip. Might have missed that first trade, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be further opportunities. That EAR, by the way, 775. I kind of feel like at the close today, we're going to regret having bought out of that one.
Yeah, probably. That's for sure. At least I am. Okay, so right now we're watching this as Lucid does take out 26. We went long. It only went up to 26.13 or so. We didn't do anything about that, but this is nervous time here for LCID because you break and then you don't go and you double tap it up there. So this is not good. So we'll average in one more time. We're gonna wait. So now I don't have any more averages in here until. Thank you, Ms. V. I gotta move my arm. The next one is that 24.80 level. So we're gonna have to let Lucid go a little bit. I mean, my average price is not bad. It's 86. I mean, we're literally 10 cents out, and here I am talking about it. But there goes VIPs, still continuing to go to the downside. My next bid on this one is 79. We'll see if we got that. What's up, B?
AMHC, which is Amplitude Health. Yeah, it's back. They approved a merger with Jasper Therapeutics today, so that's QuantumScape. I was going to mention QuantumScape as well, but a heads up on AMHC. Not seeing anything as far as news on QS, guys, but a nice look here, trying to get above these highs from yesterday.
So, yeah, that AMHC, I'm not sure. It might be blocked for us in our system because sometimes low liquidity names end up being blocked. I'll have to double check. But BlackBerry, I did get into the shares. It turned around and got down. It looked like it was going down to like 1040 or so.
Yeah.
But at like 1065 this is the high. And again, this is just a post-market high. You can sort of read into it what you want, but I'm never getting into something counter trend unless I have an out, and I like that to be mine. I just got into ATER. I said I would look for a pop in this stock. It finally made a move back to the upside. Yeah, it's one thing to sit here and say it made sense to me for it to sell, but we missed a big time flush on ATER. Now let's see if we can get a secondary push. I like the fact that we're holding below this 1480 to 15 even. I just got 40s in. I'll maybe cover some on the way down to 14. And then if 14 breaks, I'd look for about 1350 or so to see if we can hang on to that one. So ATER in this one to the south side just took a little bit out in front of 1420, and I'll buy some more in the 14 range.
Man, that's some of the best news I've heard all day here is that BlackBerry's at that 1050, 1060 level. I just want to say congratulations to everybody that have this. And this is that level that we're talking about. We talked about this yesterday. It's right here. So again, I said it takes them off at 1025 earlier this morning, take out half. Now you wait, and now you get this nice little bump up. So congratulations to anybody that either held it or is still in it. Well, still in all of it, still in any of it, still on 5%, whatever. Good move to the upside there. So that's a good one. So again, congratulations to anybody that actually put that trade on. Nice move up there for BlackBerry, 10+%. But again, not in love with the report, so I'll leave it at that. If it goes, it goes. If it's up, then it's up. as Cardi B says. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, right now Lucid is dropping. We already have our plan of action on that. We're waiting for 24.50 to go. Tilray, we did get some out there, and now we'll wait to see if we tick back up here, man. This may be a spot to get in one more time, and then we'll see what Tilray does. So I'm going to try to buy some of these low 12s, Mr. Wickens.
More EV movers, guys. Go EV to be exact. Canoe, almost 20% here, straight to the upside. Going to double check on headlines for this one, but big levels to come here for Go EV.
Yeah,
and I'll very quickly show you guys the imbalance locator. Right now, indicative open is 1711 on MRM. It doesn't mean that's where it's going to open up, but you can see where it's likely to based on that information. Roku is starting to fade off here, and that was the issue I had with the breakout trade, is you had that resistance level that was coming in. But if it takes out the low, I am still sitting on the bid at 27, and given the fact the market just got a little bit stronger off the bottom there, at least in terms of the ES and the NASDAQ trying now, I would at least consider jumping a little bit higher in front of that level. It looks like we did get the open on MRM. It was, from what I can tell, it was above that 1711 mark, but not. Oh, there it is. Now it's actually screaming in front of it. If this were to break that 17 price, I actually think it could be a buy still in front of 16 even. If it tries to halt again, I wouldn't try to go long on the halt the second time. Usually that's a one-time shot play for me.
All right. Yeah, just what's up to Claudio? We saw Claudio yesterday. He's messaging me right now. Good. Yeah, good cover, Daryl, at 12. Great job there on Tilray. And we tried to buy it. I mean, we just said we were going to get long on Tilray down there, and we missed that bid. So on that one, boo for you, Tilray. But not boo for you. I mean, this is a nice little win there. And we're smoking on this one today. Up to 32 right now for Tilray. So let's keep going, man. I'm in the 40s right now to see where we go on that. So good cover there. Thank you so much, Daryl, for again being on our board and participating and helping out with trades as people ask questions. Thank you so much, Daryl Flinch, on the chat. So let's get out. I mean, here we go. This is bouncing around. I'm going to get on one more piece, man. I mean, we're long Tilray here. It's 20 cents in the money. Let's take that, and then we'll wait to the 40s. If it comes, it comes. But right now, just bouncing around these mid-30s, I've got to take some profit.
Yeah, and speaking of profits, haven't been any on NEO because no trades yet, but it is dipping down towards that 35.85. Now I like 36 into 35.70, I should say, as a target range for support. It looks like 36. The high end of that is holding for now. It doesn't mean we can't get the dip into what we actually like. Yeah, we're definitely at a key level in BlackBerry for sure, but this MRM it's going to be front of my mind here. It's trying to make a decision point. I don't like entering a trade after a halt if it's just sort of hanging out right above the halt price. I want this stock to make a decision one way or the other. It feels for me like a trap at 18, so I will not be taking the 18 break. Although if it does give a dip by down 15 to 15.50 and resists a halt going into a move like that, that's a trade I would consider. I'm going to get out of that BlackBerry just now, and ATR starting to make some moves as well. We've been ignoring Neuro. Apologies for that, but like I said, it flushed. It tried to hold at that 14.50 mark. Now we're trying to hold 14. There's just a lot of selling, and I want the buyers to step up and show some chance that they can win before I buy in front of 14 even, although it does look like a good support level. I'll look for a 14.25 break back to the upside and just throw a quick stop at 14 even.
What's up,
Is that Brennan?
Everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood electric flying taxi company, guys, up today. Joby up 10%. I'll show you why. Morgan Stanley initiating with an overweight rating on Joby and a $16 price target, guys, for JOBY.
Okay. Yeah, good move there as well. We're talking right now about VIPs as well, down that 7%. This was a good one. We talked about this. This was on our sticky note. We added it there, but we say see ya to VIPs as we just covered there at 79. We talked about that's where our bid was. Now we'll wait to see how low we truly do go on this name. So VIPs will still hold that one on a downgrade from JP Morgan. I told you I channel checked, man. I went on the website and it just, I don't know. It was kind of like Wish, a little bit context logic there. So we'll wait to see here. Nice move to the downside, big time movement on the 20-minute chart. So that is that. We did get, and this is the thing about Tilray, man. We can make money going both ways here. Both double topped at the out there. So far so good on this name as we continue to rock and roll here with Tilray. We'll see. I have another bid down here. We've taken money out of it so far, but who knows how much more is to come on this. It could now fade. I thought the move would have happened already. a lot of action up on the top side. So there's very, very nervous reaction here with this name, Tilray. I don't know. I'm going to try one more time, but I'm not going to dig too far into this one.
Yeah, speaking of like trying one more time, I don't know if I'll try a second time on ATER here. We got half of it out now as it got to that 20 mark, and then it broke down to 14. It actually broke 14 even very briefly. I got a 44 average price in here, and I am bidding in front of 50s. Like, I'd love to be able to catch 80 cents to $1 on some of this trade, but we almost can't let it break past this 1475 or 1480 area. I might move that from like my 18 from my 15 even spot, and of course, Neuro doesn't look like it can hold up. So the weakness in some of these names is crazy. I'm just glad at least I held off on Neuro until buying it, until right here. I had a thought of buying it at 14.50, but I'm gonna take a one shot going at the long, and it's looking like it's turning into a bit of a short. And the same thing is sort of coming to me here in MRM, although I do remember I have no locates on MRM. So as much as I was about to hammer the short, if it came, at some point, if it had a failed break at 18 even, I couldn't do it, and it broke at 18. So I said I felt like it was a trap on the 18 break. It broke 18. It broke 18 and then slammed back down, and I'm like, oh yeah, baby. And then it's like we have no locates, so I got no shares.
Where is your? It's a trap. You have that. That was good to hit that.
Somewhere.
Okay, so there we go. Out at 70 right now on VIPs, and the busiest man around. Brendan, what's up?
Banks are strong, guys. Banks leading, in fact, so far. Just saw BAC popping up here at day highs, 341 there. Volume went off. The rest as well showing strength leading at this point, guys.
You're talking about
Ears
banks.
at 60.
Yeah. Go ahead. What were we doing?
Ears at 60.
Yeah, ear. I mean, yeah, and again, like, you know, if you're going to, how often, and I mean, again, I don't put a lot of these crazy stocks like ear on the watch list too much, but you could see right here, already in ear, right? And you can see here, we like the long, but once it started to break, we went down to the downside. So you got to watch out for some of these names. You know, at least we flipped it. We had it long on here. DOJ investigation, long 9, right? So that, wow, that's such a bad call. But look what happened, man. We reversed on that name, and it's going to look, I mean, where we got out is crazy. But we reversed it, out, all the way to the downside. So ATER, I just heard you mention there,
It just
Neil.
broke 13. Oh my goodness. Remember I was saying a second ago when Neuro was flashing that some of these names are just hella weak? Like, give me a break, man. EAR is weaker than I thought. ATER is even weaker than I thought. Neuro couldn't find a bit. Of course, it's trying to now. It just broke 13 even. I'm going to put a trail on this now to 13 and make sure I lock in, because that'll be like a 10% move there at this point. But ATER, like someone said in the chat, and they were like, I don't understand the reaction to them getting a deal with a lender to pay down debt, like why that will be negative. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but take a look at where the stock is coming from, because that's a totally different story if at that time ATR is trading at $4 or $5 when that headline breaks. Maybe it does actually move up. In this particular case, this thing has just gone 5 or 6x from its lows in just a matter of weeks, right? So context always matters. When in doubt, zoom out and then reanalyze it. And if you come to the same conclusion, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to zoom out on Lucid. Look at the market, man. Up huge. I recommended this morning also Microsoft. So we're going to have to look at that quickly to see what that's doing. Not up as much as the NASDAQ. So we're going to have to find out what's going on with that exactly. But Microsoft, I do like that through, even through right here, man, as it goes 299.40 right now, coming up faster than we thought. So Microsoft will take that breakthrough 299.40 coming up right now. And if it goes, then it goes. And we'll see. So 299.40 right there should be taken. You're seeing the NASDAQ starting to go back up. Powell gave an all clear yesterday to this market. So I really think that that's a trade that we should have right now. We're just holding on to dear life on our Lucid trade. We've got our Tilray. We're going to wait till 1180 to average into that one. But I don't love Tilray, guys.
Yeah, how did I miss Lucid? You know what? Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. Lucid never came anywhere. And you know what? This is funny because I said that I would not play the 930 rollover at the current high of the day. I would wait for it to test 27. I wanted it going higher. And then it actually does give you the same look that it gives you yesterday's action. It is the break of the high, immediate rejection, and short on the way in. But I flat out said that's a trade I didn't want. So that's why I'm not even in it. So NEO, I just got filled in NEO, and not just got filled, but got filled here as it ran through 35.85. So NEO continues to always be a dip buy, and like I said, like I just feel like NEO should have already broken out from here. The market's looking good, but you got some China risk here, and NEO can't seem to get off the schneid. It's still positive on the session because we're still holding that 35.70 from yesterday. This was also like a previous wick support, high or low. I'll probably try to play this in 2 tranches. There's no way I want to hold this trade to 35. I don't think that's reasonable, so I'll stick with the bottom end of that range at 35.70. You grit the teeth, get out if it breaks that 70 level, and then if it goes lower than that, I'll try a separate trade trying to catch the bottom on NEO. I wouldn't let this one long at 35.85. I could consider averaging into it, but I just don't like the way some of these names, anything that's falling right now when the market is going up is weaker than I'm anticipating. So I don't want NEO to turn into that. I just got out of ATER. You know what's whippy? When I can't, I'm not even in position in anything for very long. It's like something will pop in and then I'm out of it in a matter of minutes. I'm not really holding on to anything too long, but I just got trailed out of ATER here. This is one, given the amount of action that it's put in, if it does another pop into 14, I'd probably take another shot at VWAP here, given how weak it's shown you that it's been. Brendo?
Yeah, all clear indeed. Airlines as well, guys, starting to go here. I just had a big volume alert there on AAL. You can see huge spike there through 21. So airlines also strong.
I want to look at CCL. So AAL. Oh wow, damn it! I almost put out there that we wanted to go long CCL through 24, and we didn't do it. So darn. Yeah, that was a good break. I mean, we saw this barcoding in the pre-market, and then we thought we were going to smack this out of the. Well, we didn't think about it. I mean, we did think about it, but we didn't do it. CCL to the upside. I think that was like 50% of their fleet back on in October, is what they're saying. So a nice move back up there for CCL. We will look at AAL, but this is why CCL is interesting to me. You're about to break out again here. So, a reopen play. We're stuck in Microsoft now, starting to go back down. I'll address that in a second. But right now, 24.68, the recent high, that's a great breakout price, man. So if we can get above this for CCL, I might put this one in my pipe and smoke it a little bit for the longer term, because if you go to the upside here, I think we retest, especially once they get open back up and you hear some good feels about it, so on and so forth. I like CCL here. Carnival. Just quickly, we average into Microsoft. We're not going to let this one, that's still CCL, so there we go, hit enter. I'm not going to give this one too much lower than VWAP right here, so we're getting very, very close to kicking out on this. We could take a 40-cent hit on Microsoft. We're long at 299.27. Look at the NASDAQ, man. The NASDAQ's bumping, bump, and Microsoft is not. So that's giving me a little bit of pause here, a little bit of worry for concern on Softy, but we saw it face, so here we go, right back up to the upside. 29.27 is where we are on Softy. Got to try to hold this one out, but it doesn't look good. So watch out there for Softy. Looks like it's trying to go, but again, NASDAQ making new highs and not Microsoft, that's a worry spot for me. So we're going to watch this one very, very closely and get out if we just take a little bit lower than this, guys.
This is going to be a day of regret for me, because ATER, we probably had this one by the you-know-what, and it just went to 12. So I got trailed at 13. In 2 minutes, it was at $12. That year, again, this is going to happen to you, but you don't want to dwell on it too much. Affirm, someone was just mentioning, do I want to be short in Affirm? Two things about Affirm. I love Affirm. I own Affirm. The market is strong. It is, however, putting potentially a lower high. It's just not the lower high. I know you're going to see this 115, 116 level, but it's not the lower high I want. The one I would want is off of 120. So the answer would be, if Affirm were to get to, this won't come out here probably fast enough, if this gets to 120, then I would look to short Affirm. There you go. There's the rejection that it had at 120. I knew that before looking at it. And I was trading it off the 125 level, but it has to get to 120. And then I would think about a short on Affirm. It's not there yet. Miss V, what do you got for us?
Hey Neil, therapeutics stock RNAZ is trading on a high volume today and up around 50%. Could you guys take a look at RNAZ for us?
RNAZ. Okay, I will do that in a second. Just quickly, as we get back from Microsoft here, I want to get a little bit out if we can get back into the teens. Just nervous here. I mean, the market just ticked down a little bit, so I do want to get out at 20% if we get back in the teens. So if you do see me flipping and flopping on Softy, that's not why, but I mean, we'll just nervous now. This is a big move up for the market. I may have misstepped on Softy there, so just be careful. Probably should have gone over to Facebook. We will look at big cap tech. Ooh, some big size at 4 right now for RNAZ. Looks like it just held there. Wow. All right. Did we miss this one today? I know something released, but tons of volume coming out. There's absolutely no volume on this name yesterday. Didn't even trade between 3 and 4 o'clock. Today, all the way up and still rocking and rolling. 20-minute chart. Ooh, we've been up here before. 64. Watch out for it's right at a spot where it could stop. Be very, very careful if you're long on this one. 28.50. Sorry, 28.50. 4.50 right there could be a stopping spot here for RNAZ. We'll wait to see if there's any more news on this one, but yeah, ripping and moving around here a little bit. RNAZ today. Just zoom out, like Neil said there, and you see this 4.50 area. So if I was long, I may consider taking some off at that spot.
Yeah, I mean, we have free locates on it, which is interesting because a lot of time these flyers we don't. Yeah, 450 to 4. I'd even give it to 460 where the bars are on this level here. You can see 450 to 460. Anywhere in front of that, I just find for resistance the way this thing is moving around. MRM, just to come back to this name. Whoops, you don't want the daily chart for this bad boy. It's still continuing to flush back in, but it's holding up. The breakout that occurred here at 1550 has been holding at least for now. There is a possibility of a long trade if you get something in front of 15 to 1550, which I'm not there yet. I think my out would be a little bit lower than where I got wicked out at the bottom at the open. So give it to like a 14 even, 14.25. Brendan has something for us.
Another big mover here, guys. Vaccine-related Novavax on the run here. They've officially applied to the WHO for emergency listing of their COVID-19 vaccine. So 11% here for NVAX, just went 230 to 255.
Okay, so obviously I realize what's happening right now with Lucid. It is going to the downside right now. We shorted the living you-know-what out of it yesterday, and then today we decide, oh, let's go long. That's not going to work out for us right now, but again, we still have these bottom wicks that we're worried about here, 24, 25 or so. So, you know, we're holding out for that. We talked about that this was our plan of action, was to take more and more shares down here. So that's the plan. We don't like to average in until we're dead on anything. But you know, I think we've got the right amount of share size here, and I'm happy. I mean, it needs to come back through 20. I mean, our bid is 25.20. I mean, we're out 50 cents. It was a $2 winner yesterday, and we will lose on this if it does crack down below. So we got to get ready for that. If it goes, it goes, and we're busted. So that's going to be Lucid. I'm still hoping. It's never good when you say the word hope, but I am hoping that this can come back to the upside right now and play off some of those bottoms, and that's going to be that for now. Softy comes all the way back, so we're flat on Softy now. We did take out that 20% for a 10-cent hit, which seems silly at this point. I think Microsoft might have flushed, but I'm very, very nervous for a NASDAQ break here. So, yeah, let's just hope the NASDAQ keeps going upside and we don't have to worry about this eventual flush here on Microsoft. But now we're in the money on it, so all is good in Softy land. Let's go. Let's take another piece off right now. We were not expecting this. 20 cents in the money now, Softy.
That ear is at 650, just to check back in. And I want to go, and apologies, because I should have mentioned this one from the bat. I lost on Sava going long. Yesterday, it had that ridiculous spike up in the pre-market. I say ridiculous because it looks ridiculous. And then a complete rejection at 70 even. Cassava Sciences is on the run again. And this time, when I'm not looking for a long, like I said yesterday, I'm only going to try to focus on one direction in Cassava Sciences. It's going to be short. If we get anywhere near, if we sniff 59 to 60 on Sava, I definitely like it to the short side. I don't know that I want to even wait for that, however. If it can reject 55 even, I might take a consolidation short. It probably looks better on this time frame here. Like, it just broke 55 after making a fresh high, bouncing off VWAP. If it were to break back below, get a consolidation below that 55 even, that would give me a short off the high of the day. And then if it broke the top and then runs again another 5 to 10%, then I can short it off of that 60 level. I'm not looking for the longs on Sava. It is weird that, of course, the dip buy in Sava that I took yesterday, the same price levels around 50, holds to a dime and runs 10%, but that's the day I'm not looking for it. I'm just in NEO right now, in this RNAZ. I'm not sure we're going to get to 450 at this point. Current resistance, I mean, it's at 414 is the current high of the day, which does put some resistance around 420. That's your cue, Rob or Lucas.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, they got it.
They got it. Yeah. There it is. I got another one there too. Okay, so that's a good one. Look at you, Mr. Softy. What is up, buddy? So we'll draw a jaw drop there. We were not expecting this kind of a move for you, my friend. But right now it's 40 cents in the money, and my favorite stock remains my favorite stock here. As yeah, we're rocking and rolling right now with this name, Microsoft to the upside. Now 45 cents in the money on Softy. So yeah, man, we are loving life right now with Microsoft to the upside right now. So we've been cashing out a little bit. My next offer's at 64. How high did we get there? 64. So again, like, no idea, but sometimes they do chase your orders, so you got to watch out for those ones. I'm going to fix that again right now. 35 cents in the money, offering 64s now on that. Let's just go back to VIP shops right now quickly. Yeah, down to 44. Wow. Bang, 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 bang. That's a good one. We haven't hit this yet, so we'll go bang for VIP shop to the downside. The only problem now is Lucid, so we got to watch out for this one. But looky, Lucid, you're coming all the way back to the upside right now, so this is not a horrible spot. Let's pair off a little bit now. We have some big wins on board now, so we can pair off a little bit of Lucid, and then we'll let it go up to the upside. We got to take advantage of this move. I mean, we're only long at 25.20, so let's take a little bit off now, lose that, and then, well, maybe not even. Let's hold it. Let's see if Lucid can continue to go. I like this name. Let's keep going to the upside, Lucid.
There is another name that was moving a little bit here, and I just got triggered into this one, and that's going to be that R walk. Took a few shares here at the 01s. It started to break down. There was not a huge offer, and it's a little bit different from RNAS. I might mix these two up, by the way. But this had a previous level at 206, 207. If you want to go back into the daily chart here, you go to the 15-minute. I'm looking at 2 even in yesterday's action in the afternoon. There was a wick up to about 207. And that's the current high today. So I'm looking at this in the entirety of this range as to where I want to be short. I did start it here at 01s. I'm willing to add to it at 3 or 4. I don't want it breaking out through the high, however, so I don't want to mix them up. But our walk, I am short. Our NAS never got to that point. I'm starting to open up to the idea potentially of shorting the RNAS before it got to 450, but RWLK just set up, so that's the one I got into to the south side. Still waiting for Sava to calm down around 55 before I get in. But I'm not even looking for it. I'm not sniffing longs. If I'm long today in Cassava Sciences, then 100% chance it's a keystroke error because I just want no part of it. Seriously, after yesterday.
I like that. I mean,
I'm only shorting that stuff.
Say it like it is, right? I mean, sometimes we do make keystroke errors. So I'm just going to look at some. And speaking about keystroke errors, I'm looking right now to see what we got to do with this. So, okay, Microsoft, we took some out there in the 40s. So we're going to watch that hopefully very carefully and not step on ourselves with that one. That is going to be Microsoft. So we're watching that very, very closely. We did get some out there. I can't believe it missed us on that level. That's kind of sucky right there. But just got to make sure that I have the auto cancel feature on some of these fills that I'm looking to get right now. Okay, so that's that. So now Microsoft to the upside. Let's just continue on with something else as we continue to watch that. Clover, I took this just to watch. This is a very, very small trade. I'm surprised. Where's my bid on Clover? Like 78? This is... I cannot make this up. Like, I used to have Valeria come over and double check my bids. But yeah, I'm bidding 78, and we missed that 78 bid. Like, how unbelievable is that? It's almost unrealistic, in my opinion. But we missed that 78 bid, and now it's straight back to the upside. So let's put some more bids down here. And that was my plan of action on Clover. We just did miss that dip buy as Lucid right now, bouncing around 25. So maybe we will take a spot off if it gets back up there. We should have taken that off at 95 a little bit like we said, but I still like Lucid to the upside right now. Brendan, though, over at the big screen as we continue to watch Microsoft go higher.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at North American markets here. As we said, yeah, all clear indeed. Wow, nice looking day so far. Full percent for the S&P, more than a full percent, 1.2 for the Dow. Leading the way, the NASDAQ, both the composite and the 100 about 0.8 to the upside. The Russell, full percent as well. So very positive right across the board. The sector board looking very good so far today. Let's have a look at a couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. I mentioned Novavax very quickly there. Just before the open, 240 was the bottom end of, or top end of a range, I should say, on the daily chart. That got taken out very quickly, but huge volume on NVAX, guys. Roku was the other one, still positive, but kind of just chopping around within its pre-market range, but decent volume as well, guys, on Roku still.
All right.
Yes, sir. And another vaccine name, and apologies for, look, this one I will apologize for missing on Moderna, because that level got taken out that I absolutely love, and that's that 444 to 446 area. Once it got taken out, that probably should have been a long. Like I probably would have lost $1 or $2 on that, and then should have been a reversal. Clearly, it's already gone. We're at 53, I want to say, and I just put in the chapter 57 to 60. You know, that lower high. Like remember that shelf that got put in before that tank? That's where I think you could run into some resistance. Just an update here, and I guess we can hit a key for it. We'll do this one because. We're not there in RNAS yet, but remember we said RWLK just sort of set up a little bit better? This is essentially a penny stock. I know it's $2, but just treat it like a penny stock, right? When it comes up to that level, if I'm only getting the front end of the trade here at 201, 202, and not getting 3s and 4s, that doesn't change the fact there's going to be buyers in front of 95 and VWAP. So you're just going to have to, get some out here. I have bids all the way down to 190. I would only probably hang on to 20% of the trade if it got down to 185, but you got to take the profits. And speaking of RNAS, I thought there when it just broke that 20 level, okay, now it was gearing up. I'm like, broke 20. Let's get ready for that 450, that 460 level. We have to calm down because it's not going to happen. What could happen is Cassava Sciences makes a break again of 55. So this is like the second or third time it's broken 55, continues to fail at the top, and is finally back below that previous high, at least trying to hold below that previous high, 54.60. Once it can consolidate below that, and I can get what makes sense to me as a short below that price, I would stick the high of the day as my out. It's just not there yet. There's still too much buying. I don't want to be rushing into that trade necessarily. And by the way, ATER, that stock that I can't seem to get back into, starting to pop back up a little bit. Now, it hasn't really come to VWAP like the gorgeous trade that it gave you off the open.
Wow.
So let's monitor it. It could actually
Wow.
still get back up to like 1370, 1380, and you can short in front of 14. Super weak, that name still.
Wow, how do we not have that crystal ball? Like, just to know that Microsoft was going to do this would be crazy, but I mean, it's a permeable market right now. Everyone was just talking like, oh my God, this market's falling down, I'm going to lose everything. And yeah, wow, NASDAQ up again. Look at Softy. Wow, good buy. I mean, what a dip buy that would have been today off the open. You always got to look at these higher quality names, man. Oh, on that note, I had Facebook long 342. That didn't hit. No, that only went to 343. I have a bid at 342, so we miss out on the Facebook long. It was actually 342.20, so we missed out on that one. Facebook up that 1%. Softy still going up now, $1.30 now, Softy. Wow, just fly, young fella, fly for you on Softy. Wow, that continues to go. Okay, so there we go. We got our bid on Clover there. I upped it to 83. We're still waiting for that 78. That one hopefully will come through soon, but we did get a nice bid on Clover, so now you're going to see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about my average price is 87 right now. So that was just a little baby trade. We put on some more shares down here. Now let's see if we can go back up to the upside here with Clover. Just holding on to it, seeing where we go from here on that. VIPS came all the way back, so it made that bottom. We should have got out on 1150 break. Didn't even really notice that, so we're gonna hold out for VIPS. If it goes above this level, 75, we'll get out and we'll just put that profit in our pocket and move on. So if VIPS gets above 1175, that was stupid, man. We should have got out of there. It broke 12. 12 is such a low. It's gonna take out 75, so we're gonna go out of VIPS very, very soon. But that's gonna be a good trade. So out of that at 75. We may just take, Softy's right at these highs, man. Let's take out one more piece and then see if it runs, if it continues to run. But right now, Microsoft with a nice one. Spit it. Money. Because there it goes for Softy, and there it is right there. We take out some 46s while the money is spinning. So right there now, we keep watching it, but there's the big trade right there on Softy. 299, man. If the NASDAQ failed, we were done, but it did not. Still ripping to the upside, $1.40 winner.
Yeah, just looking quickly at NEO here, and I said I didn't love averaging into it, but 385, we talked about that range. It was 85 because it was between support at 35.70 and then at 36 level, and have a look at the range at the bottom, 36, 35.70. So that's exactly the range that we're sitting in. And then we wicked down to the bottom, again testing that 70 and holding, and it's like, give me a break. If this is the key level and the market's running, I can get exactly the same price on that pop. So I add to it at 85, and the trade doesn't really change, except for the fact that now that I have more shares, I will try to play inside, take some out in front of VWAP, maybe even improve my price down at 75 here. And if we break back out, I don't even have offers above VWAP here. If we pop, I'll look to play it by ear around that 25 level, play it by ear around 36.50. But when a support level area holds like this, you want to give it some more room. I'm still waiting for that Sava trade. And then ReWalk is just going to continue to give these I shouldn't have said continue to give, because I was about to say I got my shares out at VWAP. I want to hold on to some in case it flushes further, and then and get more at 03 and 04. And then it stops at 02. So I kind of got ahead of myself. I was about to say I was about to get a fill, and then it didn't tick up. So I have not filled more shares and did not reload ReWalk. Once again, I have jinxed myself by speaking too soon. It really did look like it was about to fill me.
He is not reloaded. But what is reloading now, and I know that you're out of it, which is good, because BlackBerry right now, congratulations. We have the congratulations thing here. We'll do that for you guys in a minute. Here it is. So anybody there long this name, you can, again, bang. Big time to the upside. Now, like I mentioned before, I would have took out half off the open. I obviously stand by it. I said it, but we also said to go long at 950. So hopefully this is a trade that a lot of you maybe still on. The options must be just printing cash right now. So I'm just really happy for everybody that's on this name. So again, congratulations, anybody on this one right now as we continue to move to the upside with BlackBerry, man. Bang, bang, bang. Good trade. What a beat.
Another mover so far, guys. IGT, International Gaming Technologies, up today 12%. Great looking chart here so far, getting into big time levels over here, but it was Credit Suisse with an upgrade on this one, price target increase. So 12%, you can see big volume at day highs there for IGT.
And speaking of stocks that were at those highs, I know Affirm was one that you guys were talking about in the chat. It has since made another push to that 16 and come right back in. The trend is still somewhat to the upside, but it did turn around. Like I said, I like that 120 a little bit better. If it had gotten there, I certainly would have been shorting it. Moderna is continuing to hold this high, so it's not really getting to that 57 to 60 area, but it is holding the top end of the range and a shot that it could go further to the upside here. It does seem like that's a distinct possibility. I didn't jinx it because I just got some more shares in RWLK, and for those of you watching RNAS, it just back and forth at that 420 level, but it's still looking relatively strong. Remember, 450 to 460. I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody that you can't hold on to this one for more, but I would certainly be considering taking it out at 440 to 460 if you could get it. Apologies if we didn't mention Marin. Oh, I almost said it wrong there because it's in my head now. Marin, load. Come on. Do it. There we go. Marin flushing here again. If you were watching yesterday, Marin couldn't find a bid. Today, it is again showing some weakness, although it had a huge run off of the open, bouncing off about a 770, 785 here area, I guess 785, putting in a lower high right now. If it can consolidate down here, now here's what it's going to look like overall on the 15-minute chart. But if you go back into the daily, this high is right at 780. Like if you look at this peak and these levels here are right at 780, it's support at 780. So this is not a random level that MRIN happens to be stalling out at. It looks like a bit of support if you go back to the daily chart at least. It doesn't look like anything on this except for a bit of a double bottom, but I like that on the daily. I'm going to try my shot at long and Marin. It didn't work yesterday, but hey, that was $1.50 ago.
Okay, so Lucid starting to go as well. I want to look at QS here. QS running into resistance right now. NY, I want to short that 26 level. We're getting very, very close now. I mean, we just topped out there. Wow, another 9%, man. Obviously wish I was in this name on QS, but we'll take a little bit of a short now. Watch it go through 26. We will get out if it takes out that top of 26. So we're getting very, very close to that, but we'll take a little bit of a short now to see what we're doing with QS. And hopefully this one will run back down to said downside there on QS. There goes Lucid again. We just sold some, and that's what I want to talk about. We're back in the money on Lucid. We have averaged some out. It's a negative trade because our average price was right around here, and we did take some out. You guys know 03, 10s there, and now 15s. So now our upside here is to go on Lucid. So it looks like we have a better average price than we really did have, but we're starting to go now on Lucid. So, we withheld that, and again, we zoomed out. We bottom picked some of those levels down here, 24.20. We just should have been more patient. And again, don't have that crystal ball. Didn't know when to start to average in. But this was bad here, taking out 26 early. That's really what screwed us. But then back in, and we talked about these kind of levels. So right now, nice to see Lucid starting to make some moves back up to the upside and saving us a little bit here. So there goes Lucid. Let's see what happens now. We already took a little bit out. We're out of like 25%, less than that on Lucid. So hopefully this one continues to march to the upside. Our Tilray is like, I don't know, it's just beating itself up right now. And we'll see what happens. I mean, we've already been in and out of that as well, but to the upside, but we did take that last fill. So you're going to see my average price right now is 12. So it's this plus this. So we're already out of these. So it's not a huge winner, but now we're averaged in at 12. So it just ticked up to 06. We're going to give this one back to 11.50 and we'll average in if it gets down there. But for right now, we're just chilling out on Tilray.
It's in my, someone asked, can you look at Tesla? And it's like, it's in my contract that I can't trade Tesla and NIO at the same time. Right. But this is actually true. I almost never trade both at the same time. It just goes way back to you know what, when we started trading NEO, quite frankly. But Tesla, this is range-bound, whippy action, and I'd like to see NEO get off the schneid. Obviously, Tesla has been running into this resistance point that we've mentioned probably at least a dozen times on the show, this 760 to 765. The fact that, and hang on a second, because our walk, this time it's going to break through the high, and I'm going to get out everything except for 10%. So I'm going to get out of that R walk. So we scalp some 2s and 3s down into like the 90s, and then we take the hit from 3s to 08. So that'll work out basically even on that trade. But back to Tesla here, 60 to 65. Like that's the level that has to go. And I think you're going to run into chop there. Tesla was relatively strong. Some of the moves when we were weak earlier on in the week.
Yeah, it works. It works.
But now you are running into not just a multi-day, but this is 2 weeks in a row that you've had the same high, and then we had to work our way back to it. And this is day one getting to the 60 to 65 level. Yes, it's post-Fed. So, okay, yeah, post-Fed, decent chance we can get through there. But the fact that you're running away from it doesn't surprise me one bit. I've chosen to be in NEO. I see no way that Tesla breaks 760 without this NEO trade working out, although as I say that now, I've probably jinxed it.
You never know.
That's Tesla. This is Marin, which on the 15-minute, it's like, why would you buy at that price? We showed you why on the daily chart. It's trying to get back up here into VWAP. Now, I should probably be covering some, as a matter of fact. Let's get out here in front of that 815 area, see if I can get some 14s. If I do that, I'll probably start bidding higher, like bidding again from 90 to 8 in front of the lower high instead of waiting for it to come a little bit lower. So I like that dip buy on Marin. It's not to say that it fell too far too fast. It's just that there's a lot of people that believe in the stock, which we happen to know to be true, and you get a dip that big and you come into an obvious level on a chart, and then you already show the sellers lose control of it, and then it gives you a secondary, like a higher low off of that and another big move down. Yeah, I mean, that's a trade you're going to take like 9 times out of 10. The trade I've still not taken is Sava. And why? Because it's going up. As long as it's going up, if I don't have an entry, then I'm not into the short side of the trade because it's going in one direction. If we do not get that chance below 55 for the consolidation short, that had never happened, obviously, then I'm looking up towards that 59.60 level because, like I said, I'm only going one direction in Cassava Sciences, and you know which one it is. Just because I have to, this is ATER. It is showing signs of a bottom. There was no chance to get back in at VWAP. We've only made the one trade on it. I don't want to be done on the stock for the day, but that doesn't mean I have to force a trade. Sometimes you get out early, and it's easy to say, I'm up on the stock, let's force the action. Trying not to do that in EAR or ATR at this moment. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Just having a look at some of the vaccine makers, specifically Pfizer and Moderna, guys. I'll show you a headline here for both of those. So the EU drug regulator has come out and said they're going to begin the evaluation of some data for children under the age of 12 for both Pfizer and Moderna starting in the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, Moderna was up already on the day. Just took out 450, though, made another nice move for mRNA.
I feel like people, it's a hard sell to get people, apparently anyway. I mean, here in Ontario, it's like 87% vaccinated or so, which is, congratulations to Ontario residents. I mean, like I said, 86, 87% vaccinated. I think it's like 82% fully, but it's like 86, 87 with first dose there. But anyways, let's move on. I just think that's going to be a hard sell to get people to vaccinate their kids if they're already hesitant to vaccinate themselves. So I'm a little bit, wondering about that story. So it's a good story. It's just I don't know if people will follow through with their vaccination plans or not. But okay, that's that. And QS right now. So QS does go 55 cents or so down to 55, which would have been 20 cents in the money, 23 cents in the money. We didn't take it. That actually did happen. So I'm waiting for another flush down. I don't even have any bids till 25. So I think QS can come back down here. They did announce yesterday, I believe, anyways, that they had that new contract, or was it 2 days ago, with another automaker to pair with Volkswagen. So, nice move up. I was an investor in this name. I believe I still hold very, very small shares. We'll double check, but we dumped it out when Scorpion said no thank you to them, and it was down here at 40, so that was good. It's been dripping ever since. We did pass the 50-period moving average on news, which is always a good sign. So, yeah, man, I like QS. I like it a lot. But for today, we'll wait to see if there's any action up here on 26. So I say this all the time. If you're in trades with us, that's great. But honestly, like right now, we have the ability to go back and forth with these trades, in and out. Like this is consolidating up here right now. This probably breaks through 26. So I'm gonna take one more shot. I'm gonna get out if it breaks above 26. But right now it's consolidating. I expected this to come back down. So my risk, because we have this fast platform, I can get in and out real quick. So, just want to let people know that I am not holding this for very long. 26 break, we'll give it a little bit more room. But it's worrying me right now that it's not going to the downside. So watch out for QS here coming back in to the downside. We're going to watch out for that as well. Okay, there it is. So we take another average. So now we're watching out for this 26, but that is QS, guys.
Yeah, and I wanted to show you guys, someone was asking, is RWLK, is that a breakout? So I showed you guys, I was shorting it in that low 2 range and scalping some out, and then eventually in the 3 and 4 range and getting it out when it broke that 7. Look, okay, maybe it's a break, but then keep in mind that this is not day one for this name. It actually came back in, so gapped down yesterday and then spent the entire day falling. So we haven't even gotten back to yesterday's top, which is that 225, 230 mark. And so if you're doing it that's the scale of taking 5 to 10 to 15 cent winners, then yes, 210 to 225 is a potential break for you. But if you're trying to actually catch 10, 15, 20% moves, you're running into resistance at those levels, and you have to pay attention to that, guys. So just watch out. RWalk certainly is going to be a mover today. It's got great volume, but this is not day one. You can look at the chart only on the day and see this and say, wowzers, it's going nuts. Pull it back. Look at what happened in the last 2 sessions here. Sava's continuing to break higher, guys, back above that 56 level, but it's still holding. It still has a chance to reject and give me the short on Sava below that 55 range. I think there's still a chance that could happen because we're starting to slow down, although we just had a big volume spike through the high of the day. It just can't seem to extend any further.
Okay, so there goes QS. So we'll flush ourselves on the toilet. But hey, we talked about that, and that was the plan. I still like it, but that was not the great. I mean, look at that. There's that wick up, man. I mean, this normally signifies that the short is in, but it's starting to come back up to it. So we can watch out.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to short it. I'm not going to short QS. Maybe we can find out what the short percentage is on this. I should know already, but I thought some people got out of it. There's some news on Evergrande right now. The name is 3333 in Hong Kong is their symbol.
Not expecting
Offshore bondholders don't expect company to make interest payments by Thursday. Big surprise. So we'll wait to see now what happens with this name, but it looks like they are not apparently going to make their payment, but the NASDAQ doesn't seem to care. That's over a minute old, that news right there. So we'll wait to see what happens, but right now there goes QS, there goes Softy, nice little $1.30 now in the money on Microsoft, and then Lucid making dreams come true again, up to $25.25, 55 cents in the money on Lucid. We're able to bottom pick that pretty nice. I don't have any offers. Well, wait a second. I do have one offer. Where is it? 33. So we'll see if we get out at 33. Here it comes right now. And then we'll hold out to see if we get back upside. There it is. Yes, sir. Nice win there. Come on, paint on my screen, Lucid. We just got, did I not get out there at 33? I thought I had it there. Oh, no, it's 26.33. My bad. We got to get out at 25.33, Sean. So fix that order and we'll throw over to Brendan. But a nice 60-cent win here for Lucid, back to where we initially had it.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Let's have a look at a few we were talking about in the pre-market, including this DBGI. I mentioned not a huge range in the pre-market, so it probably wasn't going to be a big trade, 25 cents or so. But 3 was important, and 320, if you go out to the daily chart, was the top end of a couple of prior ranges. This gets down to 270. That doesn't seem to be right, guys. So maybe we'll try this again, but is it okay? No, it doesn't seem to be okay. The TV is having some issues, so we'll throw it back to you guys.
Boo TV.
Boo to the TV. These things happen. Hey, man.
My
maybe,
TV.
I was going to say, I know a TV that's probably not having issues a couple of days in, and that's Sean's new TV.
The only problem is that I put it on the wall myself, so... I still...
Again, you could have got Spracklet.
I could have got lots of people, but I like to do I honestly, I'm not the most handy, but I do like to do that stuff around the house and just, it's fun for me to do that.
That is literally my father-in-law is coming.
I know, you're kind of the opposite.
He's coming today to put in some like pot lights in our basement.
Yeah. But is he an electrician? No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, just watch,
He's done it before, and
Good,
I've
perfect.
seen
I mean,
the job he did.
honestly-
I've seen the job he did in his own house.
I'm just worried about
fantastic.
safety. I'm not worried about him not getting the job done. I always, because that's the one thing, like I will do electrical work, but obviously you got to make sure you shut off the breakers and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. But
I wouldn't do that.
That's my most nervous thing is electrical work, especially you're supposed to get a trained electrician, anyways.
Okay, that's what we should be. Yeah, yes, you should definitely get a trained electrician. You should also definitely at some point buy some CRM shares. Apparently,
Yes.
because there's that 273 now. The only good thing I will say about CRM was when I was like, yeah, the breakout could be not clean because you're running into those highs. It wasn't that clean. Oh, but the dip down was certainly clean when it held support from pre-market support areas here, 266, and we're now at that 273 range. And that, if the market would have shown any signs of slowing down and we actually hold 275, it could be a possible short trade. I don't know if I want to jump into it. It's Sava that I'm watching. It's Moderna that I'm looking. It's just, to me, if you're going to go counter trend, I try to stick to names that either that are strong and have worked in the past off these setups, and that's Moderna, and we're getting pretty close to it, or Cassava Sciences, which are weak stocks, as you can see here, that are coming into some obvious levels. Now, if Sava were to break back above like 70, I would back off. But if we get halfway in there, like I said, to that 60 area, that's what I'm looking for in Cassava Sciences. MRAN, the two longs I'm in are just boring as hell. But as long as NEO holds 35.70, I don't have a reason to get out of it. And then the same thing with Marin. Like if you look at that level that we got long in off of that 780 area, it's already given a push back into VWAP. Looks like it's consolidating a bit, so I'm not sure I'll get 95s or more bids down here in the 80s. Like that's where I'm sitting. I'm not sure if I'll actually get those, but I'm not going to change my plan of action. I wish I had changed my plan of action in RNAZ. Here is the thing. Yes, it gives the 420 break and immediately flushes back down, and it tested 440. Sometimes when it gets that close to a resistance area and flushes in, it can be worth it to short it. It's hard to chase 40 cents away from resistance. If you put that trade on, you're probably moving your stop to 420. But this has shown signs of being weak enough after that big flush that I will short it off the high of the day now. Like if it shows any signs of getting back to 410, I'm definitely jumping into the short trade. I'm not even sure I wouldn't do the consolidation here in the 90s because that was a monster sell on huge volume on RNAZ. And you've got multiple levels of cover here, whether it's that 410 to 420 area, or then even above that, you still have 440 to 450 from current high to that resistance at 450 on RNAZ. I can't go long in this stock anymore after the way it's selling off.
Yeah, I did say bang after I hung that TV. Someone asked about, and I just remembered that I did put it on Twitter there, the TV. It's a big guy. It's nice. It's a Samsung. Here's me, by the way, watching, obviously, the Green Bay Packers take care of business here on Monday Night Football. So we tweeted that out. Here's what I hung up. The problem is I put holes in the wall to hide the wires. So, that was fun to do that. But there it is right there. It's a little blurry because I took the shot, but it's a nice TV. I'm pretty happy with it. What's up, Brendo?
TVs. We're still working on ours, guys, but if anyone from Samsung is watching, we're trying to fix a Samsung TV currently. We mentioned yesterday a nice move into the close for Hyatt yesterday. A few of the other hotels also showing some strength here, but day highs currently for Hyatt once again up 2% again.
Oh, I love this community. I saw someone just typed in their dip buy on FedEx, and I'm like, oh no, I forgot about FedEx. Yeah, FedEx, which
don't do it.
It hurt yesterday if you held through on earnings, and of course there were a lot of people warning that it might not be good. And they've had some cost concerns, of course, with inflation and rising prices. But it's getting a little bit of a bounce here. I'm just pulling way out here in the daily chart so you can sort of see the levels that it's bouncing away from. And it's still not back to, this is 234. This is the level that we were shorting yesterday was off of that break here. So, and we're not even back to that. But we are looking like we want to hold that 220 line, at least, 230-ish area, at least temporarily. I was in that short off the break. And then it just couldn't get any lower than that 228, which it flushed through, came back above, and is now attempting a bit of a breakout. So this could be an opportunity to dip into FedEx if you've never dipped before. I got my eyes squarely on this RWLK, however, as it continues to run up. Remember I said 225, that lower high from yesterday? We're starting to get into there, and I usually like that opportunity to just sort of give it a shot off of 224, like 223 if I can catch it. And then we'll see if we can get some shares right in front of that 225 area. Now, I know it very, very briefly broke 25 and then got to 30 if you look at this here. So you got to give it a little bit more room here. But that doesn't mean I don't like the idea of getting some 24s in. I'd wait for it to break 25 and then break, and then at least hold 30s before I got more into the short position. You got to be careful trading in the counter trend. But it worked a little bit until it broke the high, and I'm going to stick with it. As long as this is, holding that lower high, I'm going to always hunt for what I think makes the most sense for setups for me. On the long side of the trade, it's a little bit more tricky if you have the original breakout in the stock, so it's so much more simple. And that's why we usually like original breaks or consolidation breaks that happen in the afternoon. But RWLK headed right into that 25 to 30 area that we thought could be resistance for that long.
I mean, this is why we talk about the community all the time. So just a couple things here. I love you too, Extra Pressure. Sean, I love you, man. Just having fun with you. Look, I'm having fun with all you guys as well. And I think that's, part of what we're doing now is just, making the trades, educating and everything. And then right here too, Vikas, hey, what's up, my man? Hello from India, for sure. What's up to all of our, friends and family across the world. Strategy works in every market. So it's not even a strategy that Neil and I have, man. It's trading. I mean, I guess it's a strategy, but it's trading names that are moving. We have the free watch list on tradertv.live. You can follow me on Twitter. I send out my little notes every single morning. That's true. And then it's just kind of like this is the one thing here, I keep some of these sticky notes around for about a week or so, and then I can go back and make sure that we're not forgetting about names, right? And I think that's another strategy that does help. And then the ultimate strategy is just to have an out. I mean, make sure that you have an out. You don't want to be holding the bag over and over again, because those of you that trade, those are your biggest losers, right? I mean, you could sit here and say, we celebrate all the big wins. Yeah. But then when you're holding a bag of something, you look over and that's like wiped out all of your profits, right? So I've been doing that with cannabis names and things like that. So when you're day trading and you're trying to earn a living, just put a little bit of money in your pocket every day. And then as you get better and bigger, then you can get bigger and start to make, hopefully, a decent income from trading. And that's what we're trying to do here, is educate, teach, and at the same time have fun. Someone said that, hey, if there was Emmys, we would win them. So thank you so much. Let's get on that. Hopefully there are YouTube's Emmys.
Got something. I'm sure.
Hopefully they do at some point. We did get out of Lucid there at some 50s, so that was a good play for us.
You know what I'm waiting for?
We are net positive now on Lucid.
I caught this one time in a game. I don't do a ton of the social stuff, but I caught this one time on YouTube. They had like this YouTube challenges where people that are famous on YouTube were doing track and field events, and I was watching it.
You could do that.
I was watching it and laughing. I was just like, man, if they ever I'm on YouTube.
The only thing is you have
if they put me on that
10 years ago,
I'm blowing away all of those cats. I don't even remember the guys' names. I'm watching them watch the hundreds and the hurdles, and I'm like, you kidding me?
Let's issue challenges.
There's nobody on YouTube. There's nobody on YouTube broadcasting that can do better than that. Shout out Nick Simmons. I know you. I could probably take you in 100 too, buddy.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a former Olympian.
I'm just worried about. I don't know. I don't want you to pull.
My hammies are good, bro.
Okay, they're good now. Okay,
my hammies are good.
That would be my worry. We don't need Neil to miss any time due to hamstring issues. Okay. Anyways, as we go on here, one other stock, Microsoft ripping. Look at AMD, man. This is a name that I talked about early on this morning before the market even opened. As soon as we got over that 103.50 level, 104, that was rocking and rolling. I can't believe we actually dipped down to 104. AMD, one of my picks for the century. I love AMD. I love what they're doing. Big time movement to the upside. I can't show you our daily chart because it's messed up, but that 120 top, I did pair some off last time we were up there, but I'm still a huge fan of AMD and the runs that this stock can go on. That is for sure. Yeah, go Shiba coin. That was just recently listed on.
What's that Shiba?
It's nothing. It's just
got,
one of those
I know
ones.
they got. It's.
I have like 35 million Shiba coins or something like that. Like there's nothing. It's worth like 0.0000000 something like that. Ridiculous. But you guys all know that what I'm in love with, and that's Cardano. So we did pick. I mean, I buy it every even dollar. So we bought when it dipped down to 1. We bought again when it dipped down to 2. Now it's at 2.25. But I'm not selling any of this, so it doesn't really matter what it's at. It could go to. Well, if it went to $4, maybe I'd get some out. But right now I have much higher expectations for ADA, Brendan.
All right, I want to talk about Cavu Mining, guys. A mining company, Canadian mining company, listed here primarily on the CSE in Canada. They're engaged in the acquisition, exploration, and development of mineral projects containing metals used in green technology, which is very exciting these days. They're currently focused on an exploration project called the Copper Gold Project in the Yukon. They recently added a First Nations member to their board in that area as well. So the Copper Castle has 5 holes drilled to date into their 2021 test and drilled magnet plan. So well underway as far as this project is concerned. So stay tuned for more as far as Cavu Mining that continues to race to supply copper for the upcoming green revolutions, guys. CAVU, again, listed primarily here on the CSE in Canada. It's 10:30. Let's get a quick check on how things over in Europe are faring. Here is Miss V.
Hey Brandon, European markets are positive. Vaccine maker Valneva, trading in Paris, is up more than 5% after it said it's expanding its trials of COVID-19 vaccine candidate. Back to you.
Yeah, we'll see how things wrap up today, guys. We had that headline on Evergrande there, but the market holding up still.
Mark's saying hold my beer to Evergrande right there, and we're going to say hold my beer to Clover. I like this because it's the Wiz. If you guys ever watch, well, I mean, that's what I'm calling it anyways. Seinfeld, a good episode there. The Wiz, yeah, they're all good, where Elaine's dating the guy, doesn't know where she recognizes him from, and of course, I'm the Wiz. It's like some furniture guy. Anyways, needless to say, there goes Clover. So we're holding on to it. We take advantage of that spike. It just happened. We got out at 90. So, or was it 91? Well, let me just give you guys the good here. It was 91. So we got out at 91 there on Clover. But hey, we took out a small piece. I still think it can run up. That's why we're holding it. Let's see if it goes. That is Clover. Tilray's not doing anything, so not really any updates on that. Lucid and then EAR. Let's check out on EAR, which was, geez, that's all the way down. So I don't even want to look at that.
You know what the best part about EAR is, and I've said this time and time again. Like and you should always note this when it happens to you, whether you get out early or whether you have a top wick. There's something about covering a trade at an inflection point. Like I had the short in EAR, and I even said to you guys live, if it comes down to 8 and tests it again, I'm just going to jump out in front of it because it might get a bounce in the consolidation and we could short it off of that low again. There's something about taking it out at that price and then it flushing through. And when this happens, you always go back and look at it and say to yourself, okay, what was it about this key level? Try to diagnose it. I'm not there yet as to how I would have played this a second time, but this is exactly when it went parabolic down. The second time it came through 8 even. First time it bounces off, can't really get very far, and then flushes through 8. So it looks horrible on the chart, but usually gives you a learning experience. I'm going to try to find a way to learn from it. 2 trades just to update you guys. We only have 25 minutes left. How did this even happen?
Woo-ha.
So we're back to that. Remember I said 225 to 230 on our walk? So this is me shorting off of that first level at 207. We looked at that one on the higher time frame. We shorted it into VWAP, and then eventually when we got back in and reloaded, we got out. So this is how you manage to limit risk and take some profit out of it when you get a move like this. Do I do anything with it? If you're going counter trend, no, not till it goes up to that 25 to 30 level. Now I'm short at 227 is an average price, 227 and a quarter actually. And again, I've got some bids out here so I can capture some profit on the first part of the move. Once we get some fills down in the 18 to 22 range, which I just got some now, we'll actually just throw some more bids out in front of that 207 area, which is now VWAP. So this is what you do if you're, again, hunting for a short trade in a stock that is going up. At some point, you knew I was going to be in Sava. And it extended after that break at the 55, 56 area. Gets to 57, a couple of rejections, and it started to look weak to me, and I'm like, okay, I can't wait for 60 on this name. The market's starting to crest here at that 1% mark, and I want to have a little bit of Sava here. I'm only going to give it to the high of the day because I still do believe 60 is the golden level, so I want to give that some more room. But there is a structure for a trade that I can put on here, getting the 56, 75 area. I actually have 73 short. To the high of the day is about 50 cents worth of risk. As you can see, back into that 55 to 56 range, right smack dab in the middle is about $1. That's 2 to 1. And then if it flushes into VWAP, then you can take about $1.50. That's 3 to 1. So the setup works for me here on Sava when I do like this direction. But if I lose on this trade, you bet your bottom dollar I'll short Sava again. That doesn't even rhyme. I should have been able to rhyme that somehow. I'll short Sava again if it gets to that 60 level. And then RWLK, like I just said, we'll go ahead and do this one, walk on some water. Starting to come down. Overall, like I can be up on this stock and, you know, even if I get stopped out and take some profit here and get stopped out at the top, and it won't be a gigantic win. And the way this works for me though is if it blows out the top and I've done this, then on a day where it never breaks the trend of the upward trend and doesn't actually flush at some point, I can still be up or have a small loss. On the day that it flushes, you get a good win on it, right? So that's the idea behind the way that I trade it. I understand that that does mean I will never, when you trade this style, I'll almost never sit there on these shorts and have like 5 or 6 of them and be 5 for 5 because you're going counter trend. But then you can still be up if you go 3 for 5, if you go 4 for 5, if you go 2 for 5. And that's the way I like to structure my trading. Everyone has to do what works for them. What is not working is NEO. In a strong market, NEO is still continuing to frustrate me. I got one scalp out here at the top of the range. I'm trying to do it again. But like I said, if it breaks 35.70, I'm just getting out of it. It's getting pretty boring down here, but you have an obvious area between that 35.70 and 36, which is key. Sometimes it just doesn't mean it has to run from here. It could just sit here all day.
1103, BlackBerry. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so that's that. VIPs, 45 cents in the money. Trying to make new lows here as well. Down to 1140, man. That was a good hold for me. Should have averaged in. We were waiting for 1175 to get out there. Doesn't matter. That's a good trade there. VIPs coming to the downside. Hopefully even more to the downside. I still can't believe that BlackBerry, man. That was a great trade. And then Arturo, just for you guys. You know, I don't have any trades on BlackBerry today. Should have just gone long and trusted myself. I wish this was my name, and I think you mean me, at Sean Cardenas there. I wish that was my name because it's closer to Cardano, but that's Katina. But you're welcome for that. We want to give a shout out to Matt Walsh for the ARQQ tip. So tip for us and the community. So Arturo, over to you, Matt Walsh there for that tip on ARQQ. I know we were talking about that yesterday as well. So I want to thank both Arturo and Matt for watching. And Sean Cardenas as well. I hope all is well with that one right there. BB, there we go. You're welcome. Yeah, big hugs and kisses to you as well there, Brian James, as we go there for that one. So a nice move to the upside on that. Lucid, we're positive on that name today. That's a good one. We're positive on Clover. We're positive on EAR. Lucid, we talked about that. Microsoft, a nice run up on Softy here. Probably going to get it out, but I mean, this one, we was watching it. The only name that's been in trouble for us today, well, first of all, QS was a loser, but it's small. The only real loser that we've had on, and again, it's not huge, but Tilray just is not going. So Tilray right now stuck in a rut. Want to average this, man. Maybe 1180 is where my bid is, so I'm willing to hold this down to 1150. But right now, Tilray, unless there's some kind of crazy bump, probably doesn't go. So that's that. We'll watch out for some marijuana stocks and cannabis names as we go out throughout the day. But right now, it's sector watch time, and that's the kind of board that I'm talking about.
Strong.
Hey guys, yeah, the S&P is very, very positive. You'll see widespread buying once again today right across the board. It's kind of hard to see, but there's very, very few individual names here that aren't actually in positive territory. One of those I just saw, DLR down about 1%, AMT right beside it there in the little tiny real estate group, but otherwise we are doing very nicely. I mentioned early on this morning, it's the banking sector leading the way. Here we go, the entire thing pretty much. There's 1 and 2 in negative territory. Everything else very, very positive. Banks, individual banks leading, diversified financials and insurance companies all higher. Consumer discretionary names all higher as well. There's 1. I can see maybe 2 there in negative territory, but the retailers, the consumer services, and durable goods makers leading the way as far as positivity is concerned. Industrial stocks led by GE. There was a story I saw on GE this morning, sending it higher in the pre-market. Can't think of it right now, but 4.8%. Really nice day for GE, guys. PNR, TXT, HWM, to name a few. There's Salesforce. We talked about that early on today. C-Day, NLOC, and PayPal up 2%, leading the way for software names. Semiconductors also very strong. Look at the energy group as well, far corner here. 5%, pretty much right across the board. 3 to 5% for energy stocks so far today. 1.2 for the S&P, guys. Back to you.
Yes, sir. And strong day. MRM, believe it or not, when you have a stock that looks like this and it broke the high, got that halt trade, and then it came up and flushed back down after the, it's literally $4 away from its high and holding 14 even. That's up 100% on MRM. But this 14, and again, I still don't have locates on it. If it broke 14, I would normally be saying you just short 14 if it breaks. At this particular point, you can only use it as a support level. Even give it back to like, if you go back here, you go like to 13.5 or so. But this is a name that's primed to make a run. I don't know if this will be during, it's kind of slowing down here. I don't know if it'll be during Memes and Movers with Trader Pratt and Miss V, or if it's going to be in the afternoon when we come back for the closing show, for Power Hour. But as long as it holds above this 1350 to 14 area on MRM, then you're going to get a shot at a breakout trade through 15 even. I'd like it to further consolidate, maybe make some lower highs one more time, tighten things up a little bit, coil up, and then make a bit of a run. That'd be fantastic, but beggars can't be choosers. It's going to do what it's going to do. I just can't short the break at 14. We can't take it if we want to because we have no locates. RWLK, and again, it's about the same thing that we did before. You get the short, get a bunch of it out, still have some bids in front of VWAP here. I'm not going to go back in a second time like we did here before. I'm not going to jump back into the trade. I want this to either now flush or not, put up or shut up as they like to say, and then back over to Moderna. Never actually got the precise trade that we wanted in Moderna, which is fine. Like the stock either sets up for you or it doesn't. We came back to the higher time frame when it was at 53. I said I want it pressing into this range here, the 57 to 60 area. It got to 56 and turned around. So Moderna is going to be a no trade zone for me. MRIN, we're still trying to scalp that one off the low. Although I think we've got the bottom. At least it seems like we've got the bottom on Marin, going back over to that higher time frame. The daily chart here, for those of you that are just tuning in, it seems random on the minute. It seems random if you look at the 15-minute chart. When you pull up the daily chart, you will see the significance of that 780 area. So when I see a double bottom like that, I'm always interested in, wow, that's a big move on rewalk.
Yeah, so I do want to just address something here, and it's Todd. Thank you so much, Todd. He loved the show and the knowledge, and we're going to give a big thank you for that. And we are working on it. He has an issue here that we talk about the same tickers. I mean, I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions now, so I am going to talk about the positions that we have. But your point is, taken to heart and very, very valid. We are trying our best to get a hold of all the symbols that you guys talk about.
Literally impossible.
And this is not, okay, so this is nothing about trying to get super chats or anything like that. It's just if you super chat, even $1, it allows us to see the names a little bit better. But at the same time, if everybody super chats $1, then we won't be able to get to all the names anyways. But we are trying our best, and that's all that I can say. Come back for the 3 o'clock show where we'll, be discussing more names as they move throughout the day. But honestly, we are trying our best to get to all the names. But thank you so much for the love about the show. I believe we are, not just because I'm working here. First of all, we are going to get on Microsoft if it breaks down below 300. So it's getting very, very close now to tapping me out. We give it a couple more pennies below that, but this is $1 win on Microsoft. And what I was just about to say is, look, I'm trading Microsoft today. I'm trading Vips.com, all right? Like, random stocks, Clover. We have the meme stocks. We have the downgraded stocks. We got the big boys with Softy. I mean, I'm trading Lucid. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you guys want. We're trading Tilray, right? So we're in the cannabis space as well. Neil's been all over things. We're trading EAR. I'm trading QuantumScape. So I think we have a decent coverage on some of these plays, but well taken, well understood. Congratulations to everybody on that BlackBerry trade. But right now, it's Guest of the Day with Brendan.
All right, thanks, guys. We are very happy to have the Very Good Food Company with us today. Mitchell Scott, CEO and co-founder of the Very Good Food Company, with us to talk about plant-based food, plant-based meat alternatives, and plant-based eating in general. It's great to have you, Mitchell. Let's get a little bit of an introduction here. Tell us a little bit about the company, first of all, and where this concept came from.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for having me on the show. So at a Very Good Food Company, we're trying to get millions of people to rethink what they eat by providing tasty, healthy, plant-based food options. We've got 2 main brands under the company currently: the Very Good Butchers. At the Very Good Butchers, we butcher beans. We create the highest quality meat alternatives. We started on a farmer's market about 4 or 5 years ago. And at the Very Good Cheese Company, we're just creating really high quality cheeses out of cashews.
A lot of people are going to be familiar with the Beyond Meats of the world's, that type of a concept, that type of a company. Tell us, a little bit about the product here and how it may differ from something, someone might be familiar with, like Beyond Meat.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So what we're trying to do at the Very Good Butchers is create the highest quality meat alternatives out of real food. So our products have beans, veggies, herbs and spices, and they're kind of what you'd see if you go into a butcher shop or if you're at the high-end meat set at your local grocery store. I think companies like Beyond and Impossible are making great products. I think it's hard for them to say they have the best product in the market when they're selling it at Burger King and McDonald's, A&W, et cetera. So we're really focused on that kind of premium meat alternative. And I just think as people spend more time in eating more plant-based food, they're going to take a closer look at the products, what's in them, and they're going to seek out, better quality products.
So when it comes to where we can find these products, the Very Good Food Company has multiple different selling channels here. So tell us a little bit about the retail side right through to an e-commerce offering as well.
Yeah, so we do things a little bit differently from a traditional food company. We opened a brick and mortar butcher shop, I want to say 4 years ago in Victoria, BC. So you can come in, there's big deli cases full of meat and cheese. We'll slice it up, serve it by the 100 grams. We've got a fast casual restaurant attached to that, basically just trying to show that plant-based eating is approachable and delicious. So we sell at our butcher shops. Long-term, we see ourselves having 15 of these around the world as a kind of a flagship store model. We've been selling online for years now. So we're shipping thousands of boxes out a week across North America. So you can order anywhere online. I will ship it right to you. We also just recently launched e-commerce in the UK. And then we're also in traditional grocery store retail, mainly in Canada, but we launched into US retail a month or so ago, and we're quickly getting new listings and expanding. We're in just under 1,000 grocery stores now across North America.
And when it comes to possibility of seeing the product, further expansion plans on the retail side of things, where is the company when it comes to expansion plans on the retail side? Maybe further out into North America, maybe further into both Canada and the US, or even over in the APAC region?
Yeah, so for us, our biggest thing since day one is we've had way more demand for our product than we can supply. So we've been production limited, and we've taken a lot of steps over the past year and a half or so since being public to address this. We've recently taken over a new production facility in Vancouver. So moving from a small 4,000 square foot old bakery to a 45,000 square foot state-of-the-art production facility. So that's online and running now. So supply is no longer an issue. So now it's getting that product out into distribution. The big focus this year is on North America. So really expanding into more and more grocery stores and restaurants. We've already started looking at Europe and APAC for kind of the next 2 to 3 years, and I've started setting up the framework for that.
The ticker you can see at the bottom of the screen there, guys, VERY on the Venture Exchange, VERYYF. Down south in the U.S. on the OTC markets. Mitchell Scott is CEO and co-founder of the Very Good Food Company, verygoodbutcher.com. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks so much for having me. Cheers.
Great ticker, guys. VERY is the ticker.
It's not a great ticker. It's a very great/good ticker. So yeah, good.
Come on, Brendan, you could
low-hanging fruit.
Brendan could have said it, but
that's low-hanging fruit. But hey, actually, very good point there, and that is that the higher quality stuff, that's what you're looking for, really, especially with our ages. Not to say how old we are, but that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for at all times, and even for young ones, right? I never even thought about that. Like, if it was that good quality, then they wouldn't be able to sell it at A&W and things like that. So I think that's a very, very valid point. Thanks for that interview, Brendan, and an interesting company, that's for sure.
Very, very. No, I can't double and triple down on it.
Yeah. Let's stop going on the very, very.
Ooh, that was. But I got also. But
I
can double down on Sava though.
Yes.
That was my horrible segue into Sava, because I was going to talk about it making a double top and then giving me because the entry's tight. My exit, I should say, not my entry. My exit is tight here up towards that current high, the quarters to the 50 level. And then we rejected. Now we're playing in the same range. I'm not going long in Sava. I know it looks very, very bullish today. Now I'm going to keep saying very is an adjective. Oh, this is ridiculous. For the rest of the day, I'm going to be saying very. You should put a count on it, because now I can't help it. If we do break upside further, I still like the shot at 60 even. If it gets to that price, I'll probably go again, but 57.5 is going to be my stop area. That MRM, I still don't have locates. I still think it's setting up for that 14 break, and I feel like we've been ignoring a few names here today. Well, at least I have. I came in thinking I was going to be trading Lucid today, and then it just never happened. Now that it's starting to get back into the upside, here it comes. Like, this is 25.50. There's a small amount of size here at 25.50, but you can see it's breaking through some resistance here. I was going to be waiting for 26.70 to 27 even. Now, after the move that it put in, I'll look to play off of the high of the day for a short trade on Lucid. I didn't want to short off of the pre-market highs. I ignored it. Obviously, that was the wrong call here, but I'll take a shot if it gets to 26 even. Let's see what happens. And then RNAZ, this is another one. I don't think RNAZ didn't make it to our watch list. If it did, and apologies. No, it did not make it to our watch list. It's right back up towards that top. Now, remember, when we first analyzed, it was 450, 460, that was the level on the daily chart. So it still has some room to go to get to the ultimate resistance level. But hey, it's right back up to where it failed at 420 before, and that was a hard rejection. It got through 420, went to 440, and just absolutely got dumped. So if it touches 440 and breaks, a lot of people will be looking at this for a breakout trade. I would, again, I will say the same thing I said at 420. I'm not taking this breakout. It feels like a trap. If it were to break 440 and flush, I would short that first consolidation if it were to come in. Just my feeling on RNAZ after the first time that shook people out on that breakout.
Feels like a trap. And what doesn't feel like a trap, and I'm going to go big congratulations to anybody that has a pair of these, because Palantir, wow, another 3.5% there. I'm loaded up on these shares. I haven't traded it today, and I got to keep watching this, man. I got to put it on my watch list every day just to take longs on Palantir, but a nice little move there. And man, I mean, we bought some back down here at 22, and I know a lot of you did as well. So Palantir continuing its march to the high side right now. One of my favorite stocks. I want to thank Jude. I did see you there with the $10 super chat, I believe. Thank you so much. And then Upstart. Yeah, I wouldn't short that, but we can look at Upstart. If we don't get to it now, we are back at 3 o'clock because we just have to wrap up the show. But UPST, another great name that's been so hot fire. So again, depending on what you think about the market. Oh, before I go though, I need to look at Lucid, man. Look at Lucid right now. Big time movement all the way back to this level. So this is how you know it's cash time on Lucid, man. The bulls were kicking now. They weren't early, but Lucid's a hell of a winner right now for me. So again, that's going to be a good one. We're ending the day on positive notes. I think it was either Brendan or Valeria, but I see Brendan at the big board. So let me say, let's go to Brendan for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, quick check here on currency world for today. The big story, the US dollar notably weak after the Fed yesterday. Obviously some follow through to the downside here, 0.5% for the DXY. Back to 93, that has pretty much everything on here, sharply higher. The euro, I put up on the board over there, 0.5%, back to 117.5. Pretty nice double bottom on the daily chart there for the euro. So possibly could have found some support. Look at the Canadian dollar as well, full percent and change to the upside, 79.1. Same story for the British pound. We had the Bank of England out this morning with their interest rate decision. No change for them either. Both the Japanese yen and Swiss franc were negative at one point. We've had a bounce back in the yen. Same story for the Australian dollar and New Zealand here. Better part of full percent for both. Turkish lira was sharply lower early on. It has since bounced back as well, now up a full percent. Same story for cryptos as well. 44 and change there for Bitcoin. 3,100 still holding for Ether. Guys, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. I just mentioned why I thought it was a trap in RNAS. I didn't get it the first time through when it tested the level. It just tested 40s again, and this time it gives you a tighter stop. So I'll take it if it's going to give it to me. So I'll look at. I got not 30s, but I got 29s to the short side. If we break 40, I have my stop at that high of the day. But I still, even if it breaks it, if it doesn't get through that 50 resistance level, I'd probably just try to jump right back into the trade. So we've done that before, where it's like it stops you out, doesn't hold, and then gives that harsh rejection. You get back into the short and then play it down into VWAP. I don't know if that's the way it's going to play out, but I'm certainly at least anticipating that could be the case and willing to do it twice, as they would say. We only have about 5 minutes to go. We've said it a few times here, but yeah. Names and movers are we coming back 11 to 1 o'clock. There's a lot moving in the overall market, but we might have neglected AMC a little bit. And again, the only reason I'm bringing it up, if it'll even load for me here, the only reason I'm bringing it up, come on, chart, really? The only reason I'm bringing it up is because it just got off the bottom a little bit here at 40 even. There you go, finally. So we just, alerted me. It's not a huge amount of volume, but it is, after sliding slowly downside and pretty boringly all morning long, it actually is catching a bit of a bid here off of the 40 level or in front of the 40 level. It is up 2% on the session. So the market's up, even AMC is up. That'll make some people happy, but it did just make a move, which is interesting, and getting towards what could be a key level at this 41 area.
I see you, Carlos. Thank you so much. It's lunchtime. Well, we're going to bring you memes and movers. So Neil and I will be here for that as well. Any breaking news, Brendan, Neil, and myself will have that, as well as Miss V and Trader Prad. So get ready for that. You don't even have to do anything. Just let this program go right over to memes and movers for you. It's called our midday show now. But we are covering, of course, memes and movers. And so a lot of these names that we're focusing on will also be talked about on that show. So get ready for that. You don't have to do anything. Do not adjust your television sets, but it's not a television set. So do not adjust anything. You're going to go right over there at 11 o'clock. So get ready for that show. We've been really proud of it, and really proud of Trader Prad and Miss V. So congratulations to them. All right, Lucian, we just took out one last piece there right where we got in. So now we're starting to run to the high side. Obviously, I wish I still had it all, but it was looking a bit sketchy there. So once it came up, we started getting out as it approached near VWAP, started getting out as we approached yesterday's close right there. But that average in, man, we talked about that going down to this 24.50. We basically stared it in the face and we just said, bring it. And we took it, we averaged in, and now it's all the way to the upside. So Lucid going to be a nice positive stock for me today as well. Clover, 6 pennies in the money. This VIPS, it doesn't want to do anything now, so we're just going to give it back to 11.70. If it breaks through there, then we're going to get out. But I still think we can revisit, especially if the market does tank. And then Microsoft did me real dirty because it did break through 300, like we said, 299 and change. We got out, and then it rips up another $1. So again, if you're on Microsoft, great trading for you today. If you went long, and now we'll wait to see what happens. The NASDAQ, I cannot believe it again. My bad if we missed getting in on some of these plays here, because I was waiting, like I said, to about the first week in October to start to buy. So, hey, we sold Apple at 152. We're getting close to memes and movers, so I'm going to wrap this up. Might be time to get back. I mean, my 152 sell, buying it back at 147, it's like $5. Like it's not, I was hoping to get it down here where I missed, at 142 when it went down there. That would have been a good one. What's up, Brendan?
A few earnings to discuss, guys. We mentioned Nike already. There's a couple other notable ones on here for aftermarket tonight and tomorrow morning.
Well, yeah, Costco's off to the races. I mean, you're not going to get much different from them. Carnival, we talked about them today. What a great move Carnival had there. As long as that's Carnival Cruise, which I believe it is, that's going to be a big one, man. Making that move today up 4% plus, breaking through that 24. What a great name that's going to be tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to, obviously, everything there. The three in the middle is what we'll look at, and then whatever that Chinese one was at the bottom. If they miss, then look out below, similar to Ears, which was the DOJ, but similar to VIPS on that one.
Yeah, MedBen we know a little bit of. But the one thing I wanted to say, with only a minute to go here, guys. Oh yeah, there goes RNAV actually flushed into the teens. I got some out. I'll reload it if it goes to that 440 level. But Nike, look, man, if Nike actually got up on the day here, and it would be a great sign for this company if even on a bad print they could hold 150. And that's something that I'll be watching for tomorrow. I like that support level. If it gets broken, you're waiting around for the stock, because they, of course, Nike has some exposure to China, and you want to see this thing settle down a little bit before you dive in. But you're starting to get a bit of a premium on this name. And let's take a shot at it if we can hold 150. But I'll always wait till after earnings. Miss V, what do you got? What's our national day here?
Hey guys, it was another great morning together, and I hope you're all profitable today. Please don't leave without liking this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Me and Pratt can't wait for you to join our memes and movies show right after, and happy National Great American Pot Pie Day, everyone.
Oh yeah.
We've had this before for lunch.
Hell, you know what? So, I mean, people, I always say this all the time, but my wife, the chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie, yeah.
The chicken pot pie that she makes, forget about it. So, wow, you know what else I like? I do like Swiss Chalet, actually.
They do make it.
They have a decent pot pie as well. So,
I'm not the biggest Swiss Chalet
the lovely Mrs. Katina.
Yeah, I love pot pie. It would be great to have it. I'm starving for whatever reason, but We do have to kick out of here. We, of course, look, we'll be back for Power Hour for you guys, and you're going to be going right over to Trader Pratt and Ms. V. Wild day of action, which is clearly not even over. Without further ado, let's see what Trader Pratt is wearing. Maybe he's got an Evergrande shirt today.
Palantir.
No, I do want to get that Evergrande risk management shirt, but maybe you know, we'll wait till that shirt drops. But I'm your host, Trader Pratt. Welcome to Memes and Movers. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Hey guys, welcome back everyone. I hope you are doing nice, and as usual, be active on the chat. We want to hear from you what